anyway.
Yeah, anyway, I'm coming out, motherfucker, all fucked up in the game
On some bullshit for no reason.
for no reason, for
It ain't had to be
absolutely
that.
no reason. It had to be that way, bro. But that's how motherfuckers be though.
Yeah, that's a
That's how they
fact.
be.
That's a fact. Niggas just be dumb.
Yeah,
Niggas just be dumb. It happens.
and at a certain point, right? Um, I do feel I feel like am I my brother's keeper? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
in a way.
feel like I do feel, but there's a time when the zookeeper can't keep up with what the apes is doing. Like
I
you know what I'm saying, like
mean,
I gotta put you down. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll put you down, you gotta go. So man, it's a sad state of affairs. But to be honest, these days I kind of do tend to give my folks the benefit, more so because I see what other people do to us.
yeah.
I see this, so I try, you know what I mean? But it depends on what I'm giving the benefit for. You know what I mean? Because if it's something that's absolutely in our wheelhouse, like I've seen this shit happen a lot.
Right.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if I can give you the benefit because I know this is some shit we do. Like I know. You know what I'm saying? That's just I don't know. Yeah, I only like perused over the topics of the show and I saw something very very interesting with the one story about Mr. Clifton the Big Red Dog. And I didn't read any further, I just saw it.
Well, I switched one of the links about him.
Okay, so I ain't even click on it. I didn't even click on any. I ain't click on anything. I just like
because the story, stories develop and whatnot.
Right.
I put that shit on the docket like 3-4 days ago. Of course, a story this big, there's going to be some new developments and whatnot.
Right.
So I switched the link out. It's a different link that I haven't even read yet.
Bet. About to do my sharing stuff. Let's see.
Oh yeah, that thing. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's probably.
It's probably a good idea. Ooh.
All right, there we go. So I don't want to share it from here. I want to share it as me. So there we go. Come on, man. There we go.
What up, sis?
Hey, sis.
Got the shares. Get the shares out. Get the shares out. Where's the BCGz? The BCGz.
That sound like bubble guts.
It does.
Y'all got the BCGz. I shouldn't have ate
What
them
up,
donuts.
Sandy?
What's up, Sandy? I shouldn't have ate them donuts today.
Yeah,
BCGz.
I mean, no. I ain't never had no bubble guts from no.
It depends on the donut. See, you probably like the ones the bear claws and
I do.
All that
I
stuff,
do.
right?
I do. I'm a fan of a good bear claw, a good
will
apple
fuck
fritter,
around. I will fuck around.
a nice chocolatey
chocolate fritter.
No, a good chocolatey clear.
Eat a good number of those. See,
No, listen.
Like
no, nigga, no. When I was in high school, somebody introduced me to the motherfuckers. It was a wrap. I used to literally, there was a time, maybe a month, where every day after school, we would get off the bus early just to go to Lexington Market.
Just to get them motherfuckers.
Yo, man.
Listen.
Every day after school.
Y'all not from Baltimore, so y'all not probably gonna get this reference. Downtown Baltimore, on the west side of downtown, there's a famous Lexington Market. And they used to sell these donuts up in there. I don't know, I haven't been to Lexington Market in a long time. There was a donut shop in there.
Oh, you probably wouldn't recognize it because it's probably I think it changed. I think they remodeled.
Yeah, I heard it was
because they had closed. They had closed it.
Right.
I think it might be open again. I haven't checked.
Yo, them donuts were addictive as fuck.
Bruh.
I mean, fresh.
Bruh.
Man.
Bruh, listen. And I know, here's the thing. Here's the extra benefit, right?
Right.
Because I was going there every day, I knew they were fresh.
Right.
I was eating them all.
So you're saying that the times I went there and they was kind of out, it was in between transition. That was you and your friends.
If any period between 2003 and 2005, you went to Lexington Market to that donut spot that was by the door, and you went for a chocolate eclair, and there was not there.
Hey, yo, my sister is here, and she's right. She says it was overrun.
No, she's not right. She's not right. I've seen it. Is overrun with
rats. Damn.
And no one batted a fucking eye.
No, they didn't. Because I didn't even. Well, I batted my eye, but not for that.
I promise you, what happened was somebody that's not from here is the reason that shit got shut down. Because somebody that's not from here probably saw that shit, didn't realize that they lived there. Like, that's their home. They didn't realize that's their home.
I'm gonna tell you some real shit, yo. I remember one night it was me, Marlon, and Sean, and we're downtown, and it was a holiday, but I can't remember which holiday it was. And Lexington Market was closed. Yeah. We walked past Lexington Market, and they had them doors, all those doors around the front. We looked in the doors, and going through them aisles, yo, it was Ratatouille, yo.
It was Ratatouille. Listen. There was like 3 or 4 things that I frequented Lexington Market for. Them chocolate eclairs. I went to the Chinese spot and grabbed some orange chicken, cheeseburger sub, and there was this one breakfast spot. I can't remember the name of it. But
hold up, over there, it's on the same. Is it the one that's on the same side as that donut shop by the door?
Yes,
and it has the seating and stuff.
Yes,
every chance I got.
Oh, hold up, I'm sorry, my bad.
Sister,
chicken wings too.
Chicken wings.
I apologize. Yes. You're right. Chicken wings too.
Oh my goodness.
Nice little chicken box. Yes, Lexington Market is the first place that I bought my first chicken box.
Yo, Lexington Market is the place that taught me that I actually do like broccoli.
That's funny. I remember that.
Yo, Lexington Market. But absolutely, rats rules the day.
Oh, without question.
It is what it is.
Should have been shut down time over time.
Yeah.
And like I said, they did the remodel and the cleanup. I don't know if they were able to get rid of, because it's still downtown, but it's a lot. There are a lot of things that I just happen to be privy of because I work for a company that does housing.
Hey, yo, my cousin Pandora's here. What's up, Pandy?
Blame the best for Subway. That's the point that I'm making. That's exactly the point that I'm making.
Exactly.
There are certain things, and I know because of, like I said, I work for a company that does housing. It's hard to get rid of rats.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the building. It's so much more.
They have a network,
tunnels, and
But this is my question though. For those of you that are old school Baltimoreans, we know what the movie theater Hippodrome was like before the remodel. We know that the rats ruled the day over there. But now after they done remodeled it and rebranded it, and they have a lot of these cool out-of-state shows coming in, these upscale stuff. How did they keep the rats from going back in there?
I have a theory. The Hippodrome didn't just get remodeled.
No.
The entire area.
That's true. That's a good point.
Remodeled.
Good point.
Lexington Market, that whole area hasn't been remodeled. It's just Lexington Market.
Right.
Now, Lexington Market is huge, but nah, yo. That's funny.
My cousin said the rats knew what time the market closed.
But like with the Hippodrome, that whole area has been remodeled. That whole
that's a good point.
Quote unquote mountain, all that big area, all of that has been remodeled. So I'm fairly certain with the amount of money and the amount of people trying to come into the community, they spent that extra money to go deep and get rid of all.
Pretty much.
So that subway though, you can't get rid of unless you get rid of the subway itself. You can't get rid of that hole. That's a hole that you can't get rid of.
I would argue that we need to do a deeper dive than just getting rid of the subway. If you get rid of the people,
well, okay, all right,
listen,
sure. I'm not.
No, but to your point though, that same block,
Addie,
what's up, Addie? That same block that Lexington Market is on, across the street and down a little ways, there's this alley that will lead you all the way to Baltimore Street.
Yeah,
many days, many evenings, many mornings, I have gone through that alley. And on every single occasion, every single one, I have seen rats. And I'm not talking, listen, I'm not talking about your garden variety, cute little white lab rat. No, nigga. I'm talking.
Splinter was out there with the sticks, my guy.
This is actually too thin.
Tail.
This is too thin.
That's the tail. Yeah, that's the tail.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm listen. Those of you that like I said aren't from town that are from Baltimore, because eventually people will listen to this on Spotify and all other places. I don't know what your rats are like.
Nah,
or even if you have them.
What they call it? Super ninja rats.
The rats we every rat in Baltimore is Splinter.
Yeah. yo, my the dude that's in charge of our extermination department, he called them. Now I don't know if this is actually true because he joke a lot, but I don't know if this is actually true. He called them two things. He called them Nicaraguan rats, and he called them Himalayan rats.
Yo.
Now,
Himalayan rats?
Now, I'm sure that the Himalayan thing is an exaggeration because, come on. But the Nicaraguan thing, I think there might be something to that because Nicaragua's not that far away,
right?
And it's possible that somehow a breed
shipping,
right?
Shipping.
So that's possible. So
the reason I'm saying shipping is because for some years, and my sister can attest to this because she worked. What's up, Greg? My sister can attest to this because she worked for them for a while too, right? When I worked at the gun place for all them years, I remember one of the times we went to the airport to customs.
Yes, Eddie. Yep.
To get these boxes that he had shipped in from Argentina, right? And dude, we opened crates that had snakes in them, scorpions. So it is highly like.
Absolutely.
That, rats question. And all that shit. Yeah, that's highly.
Yes. All right, let's get this thing started.
Let's get it started. All right.
Yeah,
let's do this intro real fast. Gotta stretch a little bit.
All right, come on, yo.
I'm just trying to get right.
Come on,
I don't want to cramp up. You know what I'm saying? Welcome everyone to the Black Culture Geeks podcast. This is my man SPJ. And I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and we are just a couple of geeks talking about pop culture from a black perspective. Facts indeed. Now, we do have a plethora of stories today.
Wait, before you do that. So I've been paying attention. You know the whole you gotta pay shut up. You gotta pay attention to what you've been doing and the work that you put out there. You gotta pay attention.
Oh, sorry.
What? Shut up. You gotta pay attention. He's a great guy, by the way. You gotta pay attention to the work that you put out into the universe. If you have plans on increasing and branching out and doing everything, you gotta pay attention to shit. So you have to do like a self-audit. And I noticed for good reasons, I'm not upset about it, but for good reasons, a lot of our show from the past 6 months or so took a way more political lean.
They have. What's good, Fabo?
What up, Fab? 19 degrees. Goddamn.
He's in Cecil County?
Yeah, he doing the good. He's fighting the good fight. So yeah, yo, I'm going to take a concerted effort to push us back towards the center.
Right. I don't like the center.
I get it.
It's cold.
I understand. I understand what happened there. But yeah, so especially with two things will aid me in this transition. One, Trump is out of office. That'll be helpful. And two, the vaccine rollout is picking up. So
wait and see.
The constant will always be that people are trash
all the time.
So, but anyway, on top of that, actually, I can say that next part after you go. So yeah, you go
okay. Ahead. So I do have something that grinds my gears today. Here goes Cindy with that bull. Here goes Cindy with that bull.
Why must you tease the entire?
Listen,
I don't.
Listen.
I don't understand.
For the audience that's gonna listen to this on the stream, our sister Cindy from Florida,
Florida woman.
She's Florida woman. Like she's on the live stream talking about it's a balmy 65 degrees and sunny there. Meanwhile, it's about to storm on our heads.
It's about to be snow
in a few hours, right? But it is what it is, and that is actually something that grinds my gears. But that's not what I'm talking about now. So from time to time, I will watch the news, right? And I noticed that because of last year and the pandemic and all of that, that's true. She also has Trump down there. That's very true.
That's true. So it kind of balances out. I'll take this. She said so. We have going for
Yo, but like I said, I watch the news from time to time, and ever since last year, because of the pandemic, they don't really have people in studio anymore. People are, from wherever they're living.
Yeah.
They're Zooming in, or I don't believe they're Skyping in, but they're doing, some other way for them to get on these news programs and give their opinions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The common denominator in all of this has been the quality of their streams. And I gotta say, this is one of the moments when you can truly say it's shitty. Almost across the board. The audio goes out, the video gets corrupted, or the person freezes. It's a whole bunch of nonsense, and this is literally damn near every time. Like, it's almost a miracle to see them have somebody on the show that doesn't have that issue. And I always say to myself, this country loves to brag about how it's first world. It talks trash about other nations that are still developing. But that idea of American exceptionalism, I wish they would put that in practice and stop just giving it lip service. Now, because the Wi-Fi in this country is overall trash. It's abysmal. And I'm going to give you guys a top Wi-Fi in the world list right now. And you might be surprised at some of the names that come up, but you might not be surprised at others. So just let me know. So the top numero uno, Taiwan, hailing in at 85.2 megabytes per second. To Singapore, 70.86 megabytes per second. Sweden, 55. Denmark, 49. Japan. Wait a second. I hate this guy. Scam Likely. He's a bastard.
Oh, okay.
Where was that? Denmark, 49. Japan, 42. Luxembourg, 41. The Netherlands, 40, and then you start going down a little further. Switzerland, 38. San Marino, 38. You know where America fits on this list?
Pray tell.
Number fucking 15. The average internet connection speed in the United States is 32 megabytes per second. 32. This, my fellow Americans, is an outrage. An absolute outrage. In a country where we had to hear several politicians, several administrations in a row run their fucking pie holes about, we need to do something about the infrastructure. Well, here's the thing. Yes, infrastructure includes bridges. Yes, infrastructure includes streets. Yes, I would even argue infrastructure includes the school systems and all this other stuff. But it also includes the one thing that really differentiates this era of time from every other era of time before. The internet. It is ridiculous that we are hailing at 32 megabytes per second on average. It's absurd. It's adequate as asses ever. We're number one. But no, that shit makes no damn sense. And I gotta say, if you want to pick up your little red, white, and blue pom-poms, do cartwheels, do your best impression of Uncle Sam saying, "We want you," and all of that shit every day.
Hold on, real quick. Just to address this. You said Taiwan was number one?
Yes.
Erica, you said they don't have the same concentration of people. Allow me to explain. United States population density is 92.9 residents per square mile. That's our population density.
Right.
Taiwan's 652 people per kilometer.
Yeah.
You're right. They don't have the same concentration. They have a higher concentration.
Yeah.
A much higher concentration of people.
Yeah. It's I didn't even know that. That's crazy. It's absurd to me that we always have money to bomb and kill people. We have an endless supply of money for drones. An endless supply of money.
Oh, that defense budget, my guy.
We got it, but we don't have the same energy when it comes to the infrastructure.
Quality of life
over here. and I think it's absurd. I think they mostly get away with it because if you don't know any better and you've been fed a constant stream of, we're number one, we do everything better than everybody else. We are number one.
Yeah.
You've been constantly fed that
because you can say it.
You were old enough to even to know you was a place. You was in a place. By the time you've been hearing that, it's easy when they get you caught up in that ideological bubble, that informational bubble, for them to just tell you stuff and for you just to accept it as a given. I mean, why shouldn't you accept it? Most of the people around you accept it. It must be true. It must be true. Nah, I would like to see, and you know I'm all about quality of life improvements. I would like to see that change because I'm willing to put up with that someplace else. The reason why I'm saying that is because if I don't have to deal with the other shit, it's certain shit I'm willing to accept. As long as I don't have to deal with the white supremacy, as long as I don't deal with all, that fuckery, right? Then I'll accept the slower thing. But I will not take I will not take white supremacy and 32 megabytes a second.
No, absolutely not. No, I can't. No, we can't do both.
No,
we can't accept both.
No,
not both. Pick your struggle.
Right.
Pick your struggle.
Right. Get rid of one or the other.
Get rid of one.
And that,
you know which one I prefer, but hey,
of course.
Hey, I'll take concessions. That's what we do.
Yeah, we adults. We know we can't always have ice cream for dinner.
Right? Yeah,
we
don't live in euphoria. We get that.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
but you can't let the internet run quickly.
Come on, that seems small. That seems. Come on, man. Like,
and then on top of that, so all right, so let's speaking to quickly to another reason that's the case. It's a capitalism thing. Now, don't get me wrong. because the issue why our internet sucks countrywide is not a budget thing in this specific scenario. It's not a budget thing. It's a capitalism thing. It's we allowed a certain amount of companies that own these spectrums
to dole out the speeds based on payment. Right.
So for instance, when Google got into the Wi-Fi game, their shit is bananas. Their shit is fast.
I bet.
But because of laws in place passed by lobbyists for the other companies that have already been in the game forever, there are only certain places where Google legally is allowed to be in the country. So it's not even a budget thing. We got the money to make it happen. It's literally just these people had money when they wanted to make a law that allowed them to keep that money and keep making money.
Right.
So
business as usual, pretty much. Business as usual, pretty much.
So somebody coming in new with the new hotness can't even
old and busted.
Right.
New hotness.
They can't even spread because legally some of these places they can't go to.
Remember when we talked about before that just because something is legal, that doesn't make it moral.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make it the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
This is like one of the examples of that. To me, sometimes people get mad at the wrong shit. Or I ain't gonna say wrong shit. I'm gonna say the shit that shouldn't be the priority. Like in the list of priorities, you can be mad about that shit, but this is what you take care of first.
Absolutely.
This is one of those cases. Like, when it comes to the whole freedom of speech thing, when they were taking Trump down off of these platforms and a slew of others that they considered to be dangerous, spreading crazy shit or whatever, people said, well, that's not fair because at this point, internet is almost like a utility. I've heard this argument bandied about, and I have no problem with people thinking that way.
Because it should be.
Because it should be. But
it's not.
But exactly. But we need to also gather ourselves around the fires of reality that it's not yet. So be mad enough to get that changed if that's what you need to do.
Thanks.
But until it's that, and I don't see you getting the same energy towards that. Because that would, if you're saying that would solve the issue of them doing that, maybe. But you haven't done an ounce of work to actually see that that's happened. Instead, motherfuckers is going up to breach the Capitol building because Trump really won. So like some of the shit, just miss me, miss me with your complaints. And to quote Rick Sanchez, I welcome your boos. I've seen what you cheer for. I welcome your boos.
Oh God! All right. So, in keeping with shitting on capitalism, so the other parts of that opening speech that I had for the show is one thing that we consistently do on the show is when there's something done on the show that needs clarification or correction,
right?
We want to make sure we do that,
right?
For a couple of reasons. For that reason, and also, this is what happened. Last week, we had a conversation with the bro Agma, that led like the last. It was a long show.
Nigga, we did 5 hours last week. Oh, we will not be doing 5 hours today.
No, that's not. That's not going to happen. So, because of the nature of the conversation, it wasn't really planned out, and there was some things left out, and also on top of that, when I downloaded this, I didn't tell you this part. When I downloaded it, it didn't download the whole thing.
Wow!
So there are some people. Yeah,
too much.
there are some people that couldn't even if you wanted to stick around and hear the whole thing, couldn't hear the whole thing. It
wasn't available, right?
So what I've done is I got some I did a little bit of research,
just a
so
bit.
we can succinctly wrap this conversation up instead of people having to go back and listen to the convoluted way that we had it last week.
Yeah,
so
going to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it was a mess, and
yes.
I wanted to clean it up a little bit. So I don't even know if I want to start with the claim, but the point is, let me put this up here. Improbable wealth gain is basically the argument that's being had. So first, we're gonna go to this site. This little site on the side right here for everybody that's watching. Because my initial argument was it was a random thought that I had seen people talk about on the interwebs about how it was just you could just go ahead and get $1 billion, like just go be a billionaire.
Just go be a billionaire. Hold up, you poor? Just go be a billionaire.
Just go be a billionaire. Yeah, I'd seen that argument like a lot. Like way more than I was comfortable being friends with the people who were sharing this sentiment. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be like, how can I say this delicately? I would much prefer if I was never mentioned in any conversation with anybody who legitimately thinks that you can just go be a billionaire. Like, I'd rather not.
Right.
So anyway,
continue. I'll be right back. Continue.
All right. So visualizing $1 billion and $1 trillion. So I'm just going to play this video real quick. It's a 1 minute video.
Imagine you have dollar bills that you're laying end to end like this, and you lay them alongside the road. But before we do that, I actually have to make 3 changes. The first change is that I need to take these dollar bills and not have them end to end like this, but rather end to end like this. The second change is that they're not $1 bills, but rather they're $100 bills. And then finally, the third change is that they're not end to end like this, but rather they're end to end like this. And so you have these $100 bills and you compress them together as tightly as you can. And now you lay them along the road and you hop in your car and you start driving, and you're driving 60 miles per hour. In 1 minute, you would have traveled 1 mile, and all the money that you would have passed would equal $1 billion. To have $1 trillion, you'll hop in your car and you'll drive 60 miles per hour for 16 hours. At the end of the long day, you'll have passed $1 trillion.
So again, these are not small amounts of money. This is a lot of money we're talking about. So again, this is another visual aid to help explain just what we're dealing with, right? So let me just read this graph for you guys. What $1 trillion looks like.
Jeez. The
U.S. government borrowed. Now, this is both to show the amount and to show how privileged this argument even is.
Right.
The U.S. government borrowed $1.7 trillion in 2020. No, 2010. I'm sorry. This graphic shows what it looks like. $100 is the first, so it's a $100 bill. Okay. Most counterfeited money denomination in the world, keeps the world moving. Absolutely. Okay. We've all had $100 before. We're grown.
Never.
Shut up. We're grown. We've all had $100 before. Now, this is where the privilege starts. I need y'all to understand the privilege involved in this shit. Here's where the privilege starts. $10,000, right? Mm-hmm. Enough for a great vacation. Let's stop right there.
Hold up, B.
Listen to me clearly. Listen to me clearly. If you're listening to this, there's a high probability, right? High probability.
Pandora's like bullshit. Yeah.
There's a high probability that you know that I like to travel.
What?
I do the traveling.
You say?
Yeah, I do the traveling thing.
News to me.
I've been on a few great vacations. Listen to me clearly. Have never.
And no rock means ever.
Spent close to $10,000. Again, the privilege involved here. Well, it continues. It continues. Enough for a great vacation or to buy a used car. Let me stop right here. I know plenty of people, and I'm sure that if you're listening to this episode of this particular show, I'm sure you can vouch for this too. I know plenty of people who've bought used cars.
Yeah.
When you start talking about the percentage of them that spent $10,000 on one, that percentage goes down.
Yes, it does.
It just does. Approximately 1 year of work for the average human on Earth. Now, that's important to the overall argument that you can just become a billionaire or even a millionaire.
Right.
Because approximately $10,000 is the average income of the person in the world.
Say that again. Say it again.
Approximately $10,000.
Yeah.
$10,000 is the average income of humans. Okay. $1 million. Not as big a pile as you thought. Of course, if you can't see, you can't see. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube, and you'll be able to see. Not as big a pile as you thought. Still, this is 92 years of work for the average human on Earth. Let me say it again. Let me repeat that, because the argument is, we're going back to the argument from last week. The argument is that anybody can just go ahead and make that $1 million, become a millionaire. Was the phrasing?
I can't believe you're hungry. Why don't you just become a millionaire?
Yeah. Not as big a pile as you thought. Still, this is 92 years of work for the average human on Earth. I'm not going to do this because we got enough facts to go over. I'm not going to add another one. I mean figures. I'm not going to add another one. But I'd venture to guess the average life expectancy of a human on Earth is not 92 years.
No, it's not.
Okay.
For women, it's higher. It's like 87 or 88, and men it's like 82 or some shit like that.
Becoming a millionaire in 7 years was one of the arguments, but there were several. We'll get into the specifics as the evidence comes out. Right. $100 million, plenty to go around for everyone. Fits nicely on a military size pallet. $1 billion. You will need some help when robbing the bank. Now we're getting serious. $1 trillion.
Actually, hold up. Before you continue, I was wrong. It's 72 years for 72 years. 70 years for males.
Okay, so now when you extrapolate that, you don't start making money when you come out of the womb.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, no, you're right. If we're for the rest of us not as privileged as Tim, we don't start making money as soon as we come out of the womb. Bars. Yeah. So 92. If the average is 72 for women, and that's 90, it takes an average person 92 years to accumulate, not to have $1 million sitting.
Right.
To reach $1 million.
Right.
So that's not okay. Then the last one is $1 trillion, is basically the size of a soccer field. All the money sacked. Anyway, so let's get into some more of these facts. Let me pull up this article. We have a bunch of millionaire statistics. How many millionaires are there? There are many methodologies used to determine an answer to this simple question, producing many different answers, some of which conflict with each other. Be sure to understand how the calculations were made so that it's consistent with what you're looking for. Now, I made that argument last week numbers, in fact, do not lie. Numbers are law. Numbers are science. Numbers are binary. This is what the number is,
though,
or it is not. People will manipulate numbers to make their argument.
It is.
That is what that is. So anyway, the latest global wealth report shows that there are 46.8 million millionaires measured in US dollars worldwide. Okay.
Right.
46.8 million. Again, that's against a population of 7.5 billion.
Right.
Of those 40% or 18.6 million live in the United States.
Right.
Okay. This means that about 7.6 of the US adult population are millionaires, which indicates that approximately 14% of US households are in the millionaire club. With a median wealth of 65,000, we found that last week that it was 65K, the median household income. But here's the thing: for an adult in the US, 1 million represents 1,517% of the median.
Right.
The annual increase in global wealth per adult was 2.6%. After the US, so back to the median household joint. So when you talk about the median household, how is that being calculated? Are we counting? There were a couple ways that you could. Oh, some millionaire statistics count individuals. Some millionaire statistics count households. So if we're using a metric that counts households to try to find out how many millionaires there are, that could possibly be skewed, because if there are 3 people living in a house and they each have a network of 340,000,
right,
that's a millionaire household. But anyway, I digress. After the US, at 40%, the next highest 5 countries for millionaires are China, 10%, Japan, 6%, UK, 5%, Germany, 5%, France, 4%. These top 6 countries represent 70% of the world's millionaires. If you're a millionaire, 70%. If you're a millionaire, you're in the top 0.6%
right
of wealth for the world's population. The top 0.6%. Okay. The 9 cities with the most millionaires: Tokyo, New York, London, Paris, Frankfurt, Beijing, Osaka, Hong Kong, Shanghai. There's often debate about how to calculate how many millionaires there truly are. Oh, okay, I said this already. Some researchers use household wealth to identify millionaires, which can be misleading. For example, in the United States, there are 2.58 people per household on average, which calculates to average wealth per person of 388,000 if the household had exactly 1 million. Therefore, research based on households will typically overstate the number of individual millionaires.
Right.
Another difference that can be misleading is that some researchers consider the equity an individual has in their home as part of their wealth, while other researchers only count those with liquid investable assets of at least 1 million. Those that use liquid asset methodology may undercount individuals worth at least 1 million, especially in regions where housing is expensive. Neither methodology is superior, but it's important to know what's underneath the numbers so that you can cite the right statistics.
Right. That makes
Current
sense.
projections are that 1,700 new U.S. millionaires are made every day. Millionaire behaviors. Education is important. All right, so here's the thing about just anybody. I think these all address the just anybody part of the argument. Education is important, with 84% of millionaires having a college degree.
How many?
84% 4%.
Now, if 84% is a big number.
Oh.
Listen, every time they want to talk that black on black stuff, they run to the 90-something% number without looking at the fact that the overall amount in comparison to how many black people are in this country that kill each other is relatively small.
So let's do that. I mean, we don't have to look up the number. We're just putting it out there because anybody that's arguing this in good faith will understand what I'm about to say.
Right.
So we don't got to get in the facts of this.
Exactly.
So what's the percentage of people who actually have a college degree? We ain't got to get into specifics. We ain't got to do that. From another Spectrum study, on a 100-point scale, millionaires rated the importance of having a regular saving program at 82, reflecting their strong belief of its importance to their wealth. 1 in 3 funded their own college education without debt.
Whoa, slow down, partner. They funded their college education.
They funded.
The average person from where I'm from
don't.
Not. They get a loan.
Simply, they don't.
Excuse me, President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama.
Yeah, they got student loans.
They got loans that they just paid off when he became president.
Yeah. Okay. Fidelity's Millionaire Outlook survey showed that 86% of millionaires said they made their own wealth. They didn't inherit it. Right. So that statistic is in favor of the argument that was being made. Absolutely. But
also ignores
but it's not in a vacuum. Let me see. On average, it takes a millionaire 32 years to hit the $1 million mark.
That's
on average, dispelling the notion that most get rich quick from a windfall. In fact, the same study showed that 80% of current millionaires didn't reach $1 million until at least 50 years old.
So you're saying I'm 2 years late?
Yes. No. Yes. You slipping.
I am. Indeed.
I don't know what you're doing.
I'm falling.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Research conducted by Thomas Corley of Rich Habits showed that 86% of wealthy people who work full-time put in 50 hours or more each week at their career. Further, I'm sorry. Let me extrapolate to what that means in relation to our argument. That means that they need to work overtime. That means that they're getting overtime. That means whatever their projected salary is, that's not what their salary is.
Right.
Because they're bringing in more. Okay. All right. Let me see. Further, 67% of wealthy people watch less than 1 hour of television daily, and 63% spend less than 1 hour daily surfing the internet. Next, desire matters, as Corley found that 53% of self-made millionaires were obsessed with becoming rich before they were rich. Also, Corley's research showed that millionaires often pursue multiple streams of income, with 65% having at least 3 streams, thereby diversifying their dependence on any one stream. Finally, 88% of self-made millionaires read at least 30 minutes every day, focused on self-education. Millionaires also take good care of their health, with 76% exercising 4 days a week. So are you saying that's causation or correlation? I don't know.
No. Well, that is one point. The other point is, what I'm basically trying to say is, say tomorrow you become a millionaire.
Okay.
You want to live as long as you can. To enjoy the shit that you have. You don't want to be spending that money on doctor bills and this, that, and other, because
not at all.
You just completely let your health go. That it's kind of,
Yeah, it's kind of it's right next to signing your certificate of becoming a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's the next line down. But anyway, it's the next line down, but it is what it is. 86% are married. Including 65% in their first marriage, according to U.S. Trust Insights on Wealth and Worth. The study also showed that 78% started out as middle class or poor. Only 22% grew up in the upper class. Finally, many grew up in disciplined environments.
I would love to know what percentage of that 78% was poor and what percentage of that 78% was middle class.
That is a good question.
It is as somebody that has gone like born into that, and then just to not be there anymore, and to see the vast difference. In access from middle class to poor. It's not even a case where they need to put them in the same. They shouldn't even.
No, it should never actually be. Yeah.
Never put them in the same.
Finally, many grew up in disciplined environments, with 76% citing that academic achievement was emphasized, and 68% saying financial discipline was emphasized. A study by the Harris Group titled Survey of Affluence and Wealth showed that respondents save an average of 23% of their income. Also, 87% of respondents said they succeeded in making their household more fiscally responsible during last recession. 62% of millionaires rely on a financial planner to help them manage their wealth. Millionaires have significant equity in their homes, as on average, their mortgage is less than 1/3 of their home's value, according to research performed by Thomas Stanley for his book, The Millionaire Next Door. Stanley's research also showed that the average millionaire goes bankrupt 3.5 times before they eventually succeed. Further, only 20% are actually retired, meaning 80% still work. Next, 66% of millionaires own their business, own their own business. The Millionaire Next Door cites that the percentage of first-generation millionaires is 80%, dispelling the idea that most millionaires just inherit their money from a prior generation.
Well, hold up. We discussed this last week, too, and the idea that the devil is always in the details. When they say that these people didn't just inherit their money, that is not the same as saying they came from dirt poor beginnings with zero.
No. Millionaire beliefs. 72% believe smart investing as a key to their success, according to a white paper published by the Spectrum Group. This is important as the white paper shows 48% of millionaires' investable assets are in stocks. Their research also showed that 74% of millionaires are happy with their work-life balance. And when they go on vacation, they spend less than money you might expect, with 81% spending less than $10,000. Here we go with this. See, this just explaining this privileged, how privileged the variables on the successful side of this argument are.
Do you know if we had $10,000 to splurge,
bruh?
Going when we would take them trips down to Universal Studios and shit,
bruh.
What?
No. Listen, I ain't gonna hold you. If any of the trips that I've taken had a $10,000 budget, you might not see me here today. Like, I might be dead. Let me see. And finally, while millionaires invest, the majority believe gambling is a waste of money, with 74% spending zero on gambling in the prior year. While the above captures key millionaire statistics, what the data don't show are the unique financial success stories of each millionaire.
Right.
How did they do it? What motivated them? What failures did they overcome? What has allowed them to keep and nurture their wealth? Let me repeat that last question. What has allowed them to keep and nurture their wealth? So I think that now I can make a succinct statement to make this theory work. Okay. If you are white and lucky and disciplined and knowledgeable
and educated
with resources, then any of you can become a millionaire. Oh, and a man. I'm sorry, I forgot about that one. And a man. Then any of you can become a millionaire. 1,000%. what are you doing with your life if you're not a millionaire? If you fit that all of those categories, what are you doing with your life if you're not a millionaire? Do you not like money?
And also, stop spending over $10,000 on vacations.
On these vacations. I don't understand.
What you guys doing?
You don't need to spend $10,000 on a vacation. I promise.
I don't understand what these guys are doing.
I don't get. Listen, now, please do not misunderstand this. This is not me saying that I would not enjoy a $10,000 vacation. That's not what I'm saying.
That ain't even the point.
Yeah, that's not.
Trust me. I would enjoy a $10,000 vacation.
Absolutely, I would enjoy a $10,000 vacation. But again, it's not necessary, especially if we're talking about you having a goal of becoming a millionaire. I just don't. That doesn't seem like the best.
The best vacation I ever had, I think we probably spent a little over 5.
Bruh. Listen, I have never spent, but then again, you're talking about the whole family.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a little different. I have been on a couple vacations where the sum total of everybody going was a little up there. But I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know if they're talking about for one person
or for a family.
Yeah.
But,
so that changes a little bit.
Yeah, but even with that though, I look in my household I grew up in, it's 3 kids, right, and of course my mom's and my dad, right. So that's 5 people. We never spent $2,000 to go anywhere either.
Right.
So
Right.
household or single, that's a lot of goddamn money. That's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
So like it's
my main issue with a lot of the people that argue this dishonestly, because there are people that really actually believe this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the people that argue it dishonestly is because they're in positions of power that absolutely have the ability to change a lot of these social dynamics so that people can have the best chances of maximizing their family financial portfolio and having better lives. But they use these arguments as a shield to prevent them from changing the things that needs to be changed. That's why I find this argument being used not productive, because it's a narrative that will only be weaponized. It's been weaponized so far. It's only be weaponized to not address stuff that needs to be addressed desperately. And might I add, in this country, in a country that had no fucking problem pulling $1 trillion out of their asses.
$1.5 trillion. Because here's the thing.
Because that 5 is a big ass number.
It's $500 billion.
Exactly. They pulled $1.5 trillion out of their asses, no questions asked, no conditions, and gave that shit to corporations within this pandemic. But the moment the talk came to giving your ass that work hours, or your ass who hasn't been able to work because of the pandemic and is living basically on a fucking leaf blowing in the breeze, not knowing where your next meal could come from or when you could get put the fuck out of your house, they sat and had arguments and debates over whether you should get $2,000.
Yeah.
And as
no. Again, incorrect. Are sitting.
Oh, currently sitting and arguing about that. And then they have the audacity. I got to give them their props. Because they got some of you arguing it for them.
Yep.
That's your money.
Yep.
You do realize that, right? The money you pay in taxes, the shit you complain about, a lot of you about paying taxes, that's your money that they gave to prop up people who didn't need it, not in their personal financial way. They may need to keep their business, whatever, but they gave it to them, and they wouldn't give you, or they're arguing about giving you who the vast majority of which are not going to spend on no investments. They're gonna pay their rent. They're gonna
They're not going to put it in the bank and never come out again.
Right. And that money, by the way, is going to circulate back into the economy. Most of us as soon as we get it.
Listen to me clearly. As soon as any of that come through, it's out.
Comes in, come out.
It's out.
Then goes out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like exactly.
And none of them are worried about paying their mortgage.
None of them are worried about paying their mortgage.
Getting paid.
They don't see. This is the thing that we should be mad about. Not because some privileged golden toilet sitting on, orange box suit wearing, shooting over par at his golf club because he lied and said I really won. Can you imagine if every football team did that at the Super Bowl? No, the fix was in. It was rigged. We really won. That's what I'm saying. Like the stuff that they can convince regular citizens to get upset about on their behalf, you got to watch that shit. Any of these narratives that they're floating down that benefit them, some of them could be true.
Yes.
But you need to be extra careful.
A certain percentage of them have to be true.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Because they have to have some type of credibility.
Right. So, my sister said again, some of them are even making money. One bought stock in body bags. See,
to be clear, additional money. Because they're still making their salaries.
They're still getting their salaries.
Right.
And
so some of them are even making additional money.
This is why, like I said, the thing that bothers me the most about you apes, particularly you apes here in this country, is the stuff you get mad about, but won't do nothing about the things that actually affect our lives. And we gotta do better at just accepting a narrative they floated down from on high. This is what it is. The reason you guys don't have this is because you're lazy. The reason you guys don't have this is because you're just not smart enough. The reason stop it. Stop spreading their bullshit, because this is their way of staying where they're at and keeping the competition low. Because they don't want to compete for real.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
They really don't.
Yeah.
Life is not black and white. There are shades of fucking gray.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was about to go. So I laid out the path to making the theory correct. That anybody, if you fall into those categories that I mentioned, that any of you have a great probability. I'm sorry.
Don't get your money, bruh.
Yeah, go be that millionaire.
go get your money.
But here's the thing. Some people that would make these type of arguments are trying to make them in good faith, but they're blinded by one thing. They do not understand binary versus spectrum.
Facts.
They do not understand it. If I say, and I've had this conversation with an average rank and file person, it was not a serious conversation in any way, shape, or form, and it just happened. But it's just an example.
Right.
If I say I don't like something, I'm sorry, if I say I don't not like something, that confuses people that don't understand that liking something isn't binary.
Right.
Because you can like something, you can dislike something, or you can be in the middle.
You be kind of ambivalent about it.
You can be, I don't. But people try to put everything as black and white. So here's the thing. Let me read this scenario that's going to keep these people that make the lower money. Because again, median, we're talking about averages.
Right.
There are highs on the outlier and there are lows on the outlier.
Right.
So
but when your society has too many lows,
I mean,
something ain't right.
Okay, let's set the scene. You're a single parent with a child. You work full time, 14 hours an hour. Now, let's stop right there. They're talking about raising the federal minimum wage to 15.
They've been talking about that for a while, so we'll see that.
Right. Well, I mean, regardless of if it happens or not, that's just I I just said that to say that this making $14 an hour.
These numbers are
reasonable
on that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're reasonable because we know that the minimum wage isn't. Anyway, so all right, you bring home roughly $800 per check. Your bills, $1,000 for rent, $150 for electricity, $250 for a car payment, $150 for car insurance. Because why? Well, because we went into this like budget thing last week, and again it was like completely off the cuff. But this and I was making a bunch of concessions just to try to make it work, try to make the argument work. Now let's be realistic, because I'm not comparing this to directly. Oh yeah, but I'm not comparing this directly to the argument. This is just a separate scenario that has nothing to do with the argument itself, but it shows what could happen. $1,000 for rent. We looked up the average for a 1-bedroom in the country, and it was like $1,500. So $1,000 for rent. All right, it's probably gonna be higher than that. Let's just be realistic. It's probably gonna be higher than that because you have a child.
This shit is,
right. It's probably gonna be higher than that $1,000.
Believe me,
right. $150 for electricity, $250 for a car payment. Now, last week I excluded a car payment to try to make the best argument I can make, but realistically, you need a car payment because you need a reliable car. And as the thing that we were just talking about says, a good used car is $10,000. You don't have $10,000 to just. I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm fairly. I made the joke about it being privileged, and there's truth in the joke, but realistically, I'm assuming that they mean a car that's going to be reliable that you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
Right. So when you don't have $10,000 to just drop on that, you're going to have a car payment. Right. $250 car payment. Now, even that is kind of low because if we're talking, the person that we're talking about in this scenario, they can't have good credit. I know they don't, but we'll take the $250. $150 for car insurance. Again, young people don't pay $150 for car insurance. No. That don't happen generally. Nah, they hire. Yeah. They higher than that. But anyway, keep going. So let's do the math. You bring home about $1,600 a month. Your bills average about $1,550. You're making it, but barely. This doesn't even include groceries, internet, cable, cell phone. Nor does it include the child tax credit or child support. You know, those are other incomes that you could possibly have.
Right.
But now it's a really cold December and you get a power bill for $600. How do you pay it? To put it simply, you don't, because you can't. So your power gets shut off. But you know what your lease says? It says you get evicted if utilities are terminated. Oh. So now you're in court crying to a judge who doesn't care.
Doesn't what?
Doesn't care.
Oh. Okay.
And you have 10 days to get out. Well, you're in luck because you found somewhere in 3 days with 3 days to spare. And it's only $650 a month. But to get in, you must pass a background and credit check.
Oh, damn it.
Because you just got evicted.
Oh.
You've never been a criminal, but even if you could pass it, you're looking at $1,300 up front to move in. After paying the deposit in the first month's rent, time's up.
I said you've never been a criminal.
Yeah, you've never been a criminal.
Speak for yourself. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. No, you're right. Landlord shows up at 7 a.m. with the police and change your locks. So now you're living in your car. Now you're living in your car with your 7-year-old son and everything you need to get by. You tried to get a storage unit, but you don't have a billing address, so they won't sell you one. So you could only take what would fit in your back seat. You pay to shower at a local truck stop. You eat whatever can be cooked in the gas station microwave. Someone sees you and your son living like this and calls CPS. Guess what happens next? What? They remove your child from your care. And if this isn't devastating enough, you lose your job too, because an employee losing a child reflects poorly on this company. So now you apply for an apartment with the region where the waiting list is 3 to 7 years. Then you go into Walmart to put in the application. When you get back to your car, you see that your back window's been busted out and someone helped themselves to your belongings. Now, remember, it's December and really cold. Now you have damage to your only shelter. You call your car insurance, who says your deductible is $1,000, and they're going to increase your monthly rate since now you're at high risk. You call a homeless shelter as a last resort, but they're full. We can stop there because I think you get the point. The people we work with every day are these people. We are these people. We are so close to homelessness and don't even realize it. All it takes is one unexpected bill, one fender bender, one layoff, one house fire, etc. All that to say, that doesn't really jive with this theory.
Yeah. And
these are realistic situations. Not that one person would have all of these things happen to them. It's possible,
but that's actually the point,
right?
When you make these sweeping generalizations about why anyone, when you say any is a, my grandfather used to say, never is a long day.
Yes.
So is any.
Mm-hmm.
So is any. That shit. Like when you say that, and I think what happens in those conversations is whatever positive information you're trying to give someone is immediately lost the moment you make these sweeping generalizations.
Yeah. All right. So
it's oh no.
Okay. All right.
Not do that.
Now I've been seeing this pop up every now and then, and it's just every time that I saw things about it, there were other stories that pushed it off, but now she's finally addressed it. Zendaya addressed people's concerns over age gap between her and John David Washington in Malcolm and Marie, and this is what she said. Everyone is buzzing with anticipation for Netflix's new film, Malcolm and Marie, which is set to be released on February 5th. While doing a press interview for the upcoming film, lead actress Zendaya discussed the controversy surrounding the 12-year age gap between her and her co-star John David Washington. While speaking with Entertainment Tonight Canada, Zendaya, who is 24, shared that it's understandable some viewers have been apprehensive about seeing her play opposite Washington, who is 36, especially since she's played the role of a teenager for a large portion of her career. That being said, because Marie was a character that was written specifically for her by her close friend and Euphoria creator Sam Levinson, she thinks Marie is a symbol for who she is now, in addition to the woman she will be in the future.
Right.
Her quote, I guess I kind of understand it a little bit because I have been playing 16 since I was 16, the actress said about the controversy. Speaking on her youthful appearance and playing the part of Marie, she said, thankfully, black don't crack. So I probably sometimes look a bit young, but I am a grown woman.
No, she said she's a grown-ass woman.
No, that's not what happened. No, that's not what that's not what happened. But I am a grown woman, so this was special to me. Not only because it was written for me, but I think it was also written to me and the woman I'm growing into. I think that was hugely what Marie kind of turned out to be while Sam was writing. It's special when a character is written for us, This is who he thought of as he was writing it, and we were able to be a part of that process from the beginning, being able to talk with him for hours after he'd write pages. We talk about it for however long. It really is a special experience, unlike anything I've been a part of to that degree. Yeah, I'm grateful for the whole process. I couldn't have asked for a better role to take that step. In addition to being a part of shaping the character she played in the film, last July, Deadline reported Zendaya also helped fund the film during its pre-production and production phases, as did Washington. When giving his take on the age gap between himself and his co-star last month, Washington said, I wasn't concerned about it because she is a woman. People are going to see in this film how much of a woman she is. As of now,
wait.
What?
Oh, that sounded a little weird.
No, I don't listen. Right? No, nigga. No. Listen. Well, let me finish. As of now, we know Washington will be playing a brooding film director who's awaiting a critic's review about his newly premiered film alongside his girlfriend, played by Zendaya. With Malcolm and Marie's release only a few days away, only time will tell what real-life critics have to say about how the duo's tumultuous romance plays out on screen and if the age gap makes any difference. Now, a couple of things.
What's a couple of things?
One, Zendaya is a goddess. Her growth, her ability to navigate this situation, absolutely amazing. Okay. Impeccable. I would not have handled it this way.
Yeah, I know. You told people to mind their motherfucking business and kept about your business.
It'd have been very close.
But let me offer you a alternative view from a marketing standpoint.
I know why she did it.
No, that's not even where I was going with it. The way people perceive things. This is a catch-22. All absolutely. Very youthful looking actors, actresses, singers, all that. They gotta kind of go through this shit. Like if you look young and then you piled on that playing roles, none of that shit. People are going to have that reaction.
Absolutely.
The issue is, do you let that stop you?
No.
From doing what you want?
Absolutely.
And then you work through it till they don't see that no
Absolutely.
more. You know what I'm saying? That's
it. That's the blueprint that's been laid out by actors and actresses in this lane.
That's exactly that's already what they do.
That's what they do.
This is part of it.
But still. Yes, still.
You said still.
Y'all catching all this wreck because I put my money up for this movie. I put my creative processes to work to contribute to this movie. I am going to be co-starring in this movie. You can kiss my ass. Now, to be clear, obviously, again, I understand why she doesn't say that. I get that.
It would be the equivalent of her actually the captain of the Titanic putting the iceberg in the way.
Now, like I said, I get. Well, I don't believe that's the case nowadays. I believe 1,000% that would have been the case 10, maybe 5 years ago. Right. I think it's different now for a couple reasons. Some specifically dealing with Zendaya and some just society and how we've grown technologically and all that other good stuff. One specifically, Zendaya, she's a part of the Disney family. I haven't seen yet. And I'm not talking about the incel groups. I'm not talking about those. Right. I'm talking about wide scale. I haven't seen yet in this new era any controversies around something that's not actually looked at as morally wrong. I've seen controversies about things people may have said, things people may have done in the past, long time ago. They don't got to do it now, but they were still consistent in that they were morally wrong. Well, morally wrong. Right. This is not one of those things. This is not something that's morally wrong. This is you not being able to get over your brain.
Yeah.
And seeing me as a child, because I started as a child actor and I did what literally everyone in Hollywood does. I played a role for someone that was younger than I actually am.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But again, one of the ways we shape perception in this country is through entertainment.
Oh yeah, show it.
This is part of.
No, I agree with all that. I agree with the whole idea that literally the only way to fix it is for her to do the movie.
That's it.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. But you would have caught these bars because I look at the Gina Carano situation, which I haven't put on any of the dockets because she has been saying some problematic shit online.
No, nigga, no, she is.
Yes, but again,
she is.
Well, for this, I wanted to just spit facts versus, know.
Right.
She's been saying some problematic shit online, and as of this date, we have no confirmation of her being fired. No. Now, there are
some differences there, too.
There's a rumor that she might have been fired.
Boy,
because
You know, they ended the whole Mandalorian thing and they're going into another story. So she was in that.
At
but
first.
Was she in? Oh, okay. But was she in?
There was a new promotion thing that came out that didn't include her character. So it hasn't been explicitly said why her character's not on that promo.
Right.
So some of the speculation is maybe she did get let go. So if you've been listening to us talk about how Disney handles these type of things, you are well within your rights to be surprised at her not being fired. Apparently, Jon Favreau fought for her. Okay. I don't know enough about it to really give an opinion because I don't know nothing about Star Wars. Never watched an episode of The Mandalorian. All I know is I know these people from other things that they've done.
Right.
And I don't even know what she said because I refused to go down the rabbit hole.
The thing about that is I don't think look, clearly she had to have said something, but it's more of, it's not, I don't think it's one specific thing.
I don't either.
She had an account on Paula. Yeah, she has an account on Paula, and you know, the type of shit they talk about on Paula.
Yeah.
So it's like,
my biggest thing that I don't like is her cavalier attitude about it.
Yeah.
That's my issue. I don't even know what she said, but I know that if she said something enough, let's be real. If you ever like heard me talk for any extended amount of times, or you know me, you know that I don't trash. Well, sure, but I don't go with the popular thing. I don't like. That's just not. Yeah,
you don't go with the popular thing, but you don't not go with the popular thing because simply it's the popular thing.
So when it comes to things like this, these big controversies, normally there's some fire to that smoke. Right. So that's what I'm going. That's why I'm not going as far as to condemn her, but I still feel like her attitude about it. I've seen the things she said about the backlash,
right?
And I'm not rocking with that.
I'm gonna tell you
she
something.
Feels untouchable.
I'm gonna tell you the reason she feels that way is largely because of her political attitudes and who she chose to latch on to. Because that guy does not apologize.
That's
guy
true.
Does, you know
that's true.
So in her response really tells you most of what you need to know about where she is and who she's trying to emulate and who she felt empowered her to be that way. And I gotta say, 9 times out of 10, people that I have met that needed him, he's their inspiration. I done heard brothers tell me Martin Luther King was their inspiration. I done heard motherfuckers tell me Malcolm X was their inspiration. I done heard motherfuckers tell me that Paul Robeson was their inspiration. I've heard motherfuckers tell me that Cicely Tyson was their inspiration.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. If that motherfucker is your inspiration, if that motherfucker is who you identify with, there's issues. There's issues.
Absolutely.
There's issues.
Absolutely. You know? Back to the story a little bit. I've been reading one of these comments, and this is why I would have the energy that I have. I don't believe the backlash is due to the age gap. I think it's because she looks underage. When watching a deep love story, you want to see people look compatible. This is the fuck I'm talking about. This is why all of y'all would have gotten my ass to kiss, because I don't give a fuck what you think I look like.
Yes, you do.
No,
this is why, like I said, some of this backlash all of this is getting is inherent. When you hire an actress that's older than 16 to play 16, you hire her because of what she looks like.
Sometimes they hire.
You're not going to hire somebody.
You're not going to hire somebody that looks 40.
Right.
But you might hire somebody that looks 20 to play a 16-year-old.
And indeed, that's possible. But what I'm saying is, we can't globally say they don't care what.
Oh no! No. You misunderstood. Okay. I don't care what you think I look like. I'm saying I don't care what the fuck. No, I'm not saying globally they don't care. I'm saying I don't care.
But hear what I'm saying. You got the role very possibly because you was considered above maybe 40 to 50 people that did that audition. One of the aspects, one of the assets of why they got, she might be the one, is because you look that way.
No, nigga, this role right. That I paid for the movie. Oh, I didn't get this role.
You know what? I
didn't get this role because I paid for this movie. I paid for this movie. I helped create this movie. I don't give a fuck what you think I look like. Right. I don't care if your argument is the backlash isn't because of the age gap. It's because you think I look underage. I don't give a fuck because I'm in this movie because I paid for it and I made it. And because of the blood, sweat, and tears that I put in. I don't give a fuck what you think I look like. I don't care what you think I look like. It's not about you. Nah. Now, in the other scenarios, yes, because that is a huge part of it.
Yeah, that's why they got absolutely huge part.
That's one of the
they literally want the crowd to think
absolutely
that you are this age.
For Euphoria, she didn't write that movie. I mean, that show.
Right.
A part of the reason she got the show, absolutely, sure, her work. Let's not discount that.
It's the work. It's also work, but
on top of that, you look like you can actually fit in to be a teenager. Yes, 1,000%. Yeah. But for this movie, fuck all that. I paid for this movie. I helped write the characters to this movie. Nah, B.
But here's another side of this that you might be not factoring in. Mm-hmm. You paid for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unless this is purely an artistic endeavor where you don't expect to make
it's on Netflix. I made my money back.
Say less.
It's on Netflix. I made my money back. Netflix bought it. Yeah, I made my money back. I don't now I still stand by. I completely understand why she went the route that she went, because even though I might have made my money back for this movie, you still want to keep some fans. I get that. So now if I
the shit hits different. This is why I always tell people: before you have a fan base, shit hits different.
I promise you what I would do
are going to be different.
I promise you what I would do. I'm no cap. I would write my statement, cussing the people out. I would write it out. Listen. I would write it out. Type, have it all typed.
Mm-hmm.
I would save it to a Google Doc. I would open a new tab. Type in OnlyFans.com.
Damn it!
Set up an OnlyFans. Because especially the way that was the other side of what I was saying, the way the society is and technology is. Right. I would start an OnlyFans before I release the statement.
Right.
I would start the OnlyFans. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, and we've seen this with other celebrities. There are some that are doing the sexual stuff, but most of the celebrities aren't doing nudity. No, not on OnlyFans. No, because OnlyFans is not only about that. And there was a huge. We're not gonna get into that. But yes, I would save this Google Doc, open a new tab, go to OnlyFans.com, start this shit, open a new tab, go to Twitter, throw out the link. Wait for a week.
Pay me for this opinion.
Wait for a week
for this take.
Wait for a week. I would drop it on the OnlyFans, and then I would start saying it out loud. It's too much these days. I remember the conversation we had last week about the ceremony of the inauguration and all that shit.
Yes.
This is one of the things you think. Actually, also. Quick side note: all the people that think that we don't argue. Number one, we just had a slight argument. Literally at 11 o'clock last night, we argued for an hour.
Yeah, we argued
about some MCU shit. So but anyway,
this show has an agenda.
Yeah, this is different. We have a goal that we're working towards here, but that. It shows like living in this time, seeing the things that people are doing shows me so many things are possible that people tell you aren't possible because they're used to the old way that things are done.
Yeah.
So I know at the top of the episode, I don't know if it was before we started, but we talked about, you can't really say what you would do in a situation you've never been in. I have a high certainty that I would do this simply because I know what the environment of civilization is right now. Because seeing shit like Kevin on stage starting his app and all the stuff, and like it's too many avenues out here.
That's true. Now take Kev on stage as an example. I think if you started out in traditional media, you do get used to the way,
without question,
shit is done there.
Without question.
If you start like we do, like basically we in the Wild West of the internet. So there are platforms that allow us to broadcast, to upload, and to pretty much put our creativity out there without having a lot of middlemen. There's really only one middleman, and that's the platform itself and its terms of service, right?
Yep.
But we're not going through any studios where they have to approve budgets, green light films, green light content. You want to do none of that, just put your shit up there and see what happens. Right. So if you started out that way, you're going to have probably a different knee-jerk.
Absolutely. There's a sports factor that comes into play.
Yeah.
It's but my counter to that, she's 24, 26.
Yeah.
She's young.
Hush, cat.
So it's not like, this isn't a scenario where someone like Will Smith, even though he's absolutely done it,
right,
he's the anomaly.
Right.
But this isn't a scenario where it's a 50-year-old who's been in this business for 30 years and now has to switch up everything he does. No, it's a scenario where I've been in this.
You can adapt.
For a good 8, sure.
You can adapt.
But I can adapt. I'm still young. I'm still young out here. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's the other thing that bothers me. Because that makes perfect sense. But I don't be seeing that.
No, because you don't want to. You still don't want to.
Listen, no, not that part.
Okay.
I don't be seeing these young people doing that. I see them jammed up all the time off of shit. We had this conversation before. You grew up with this shit.
Yeah.
You grew up with it.
Thanks.
Why aren't you? So why do I see you doing the same thing we just saw somebody else?
Same traps.
Get the shit smacked out of them for, and you doing it.
Yo, it reminds me of a Chris Rock joke, right? Because he was talking about gun control, and he was talking about the Vegas shooting, and he was saying like he shot 100 people.
Yeah.
And so he was like, we need to do something about these guns. And he's like, one of the arguments against taking away guns is, well, you can kill somebody with a knife too. And he said, yes, that's true. He said, but if someone stabbed 100 people, 97 people are dumb as fuck, basically.
Or that one person, in my case, is a bona fide badass.
No, nigga.
That's not nice work.
What? No, nigga.
Oh, sorry.
And he was like, you'd have to be standing there. He was like, you'd literally have to be standing there like, oh shit, he just stabbed that person. Oh shit, he stabbed the next person. Oh shit, he stabbed the next person. Well, goddamn, he stabbed me.
I remember that.
I didn't see that coming. Like, nah, yo.
Yeah.
So like, it's you see what people have been through.
It's right there in front of you, B.
Now,
right
some of that has to deal with mental health. Some of that, all these things. Absolutely. So, like, I don't want to discount those things, but it's just that
we're gonna say that there is we're just gonna allow there is a percentage of that
standard deviation.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But to the overall point, I think it still stands. You're a kid. You grew up with this. You don't see how they dragged that ass motherfucker for that shit that they did. Why are you doing it?
Because
do you want the dragging?
Propaganda, my guy.
Yeah.
Indoctrination. Those are the reasons. Yeah. I'm fairly certain.
That shit is real. That's why, like I said, man, it's hard for Hollywood to make certain proclamations about certain things when it comes to indoctrination.
Yeah.
You've literally been indoctrinating the public since the beginning of Hollywood. You literally have been making certain demographics of people think a certain way about other demographics of people through your visual and audio presentation for years.
Yeah.
So when you see an example of how you conditioned them come back and it's not so good, it's kind of baked in the cake.
Yeah.
Everything's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to completely adjust the way people
think
for the benefit.
Erica says because everybody thinks it won't happen to them.
Everybody thinks it can't happen to them.
Thinks they're special.
So let me so to that point.
Allow me to disabuse you.
Allow me to disabuse you of that. It can absolutely happen to you. Listen,
no, it will happen to you. You're next.
This is not an exhaustive list. This is just basic shit. You can get hit by a car.
Yes.
You can get struck by lightning.
Yes. It is not as uncommon as people think.
A dog can bite numbers, you. A dog can bite the shit out of you.
Wait. The lightning thing real quick. That's a great example of what we were talking about earlier about numbers not lying, right? Numbers don't lie, but you can absolutely manipulate. When you hear the percentages of being struck by lightning, what that means is the chances of lightning hitting a particular point
spot where you are,
given all the possible points that
right.
That don't mean it's not going to happen to you.
It's going to happen to you, my G. It's going to happen to you. Yo, another situation. Listen, you can get fired. Listen, I know you don't think it happened to you. You can get fired. You can be out on the streets. You can be homeless. The police can arrest you for something you didn't do. You go all the way to court, and they still think you did it and lock you up for something you did not do. You absolutely 100%, for those of you that don't think this can happen, can get your motherfucking ass whipped by me. That shit can happen. Depending on what you say, how you carrying it that day.
Oh my God. You did. I don't like you.
Let me disabuse you of thinking that shit. Yo, all of those things can happen.
Yeah, good just like intelligence, right? You can be special in this one way.
Yeah.
But that don't mean you special in all the ways.
Yo, expertise matters, my G. We just talked about that last night. Like, expertise matters.
Expertise matters. Like it matters. That's why that's the basis of your heroes have no power here.
My sister just said
Grumpy is always showing. That's not. That's a random day and ending why.
Shut up. But what you said is the truth. That is one of the basic premises of this show. Your heroes have no power. It can absolutely happen to you.
It's because expertise is very specific.
Yeah,
it's a very specific thing. Right. Me happening to be good. Another thing we talked about yesterday. Me happening to be good with technology don't mean I can just pick up an iPhone and do whatever I want.
Right.
But I have no experience with nothing.
But what it does mean is that the odds are you pick it up and I pick it up, you'll figure it out before me.
Right. I might be able to finagle some things.
Right.
Because of previous knowledge of other things that are closely related but not directly related. But expertise matters. Specificity matters. All these things matter. So your favorite NBA player is not necessarily going to understand that the earth isn't flat.
Hold up. That fruit that you gave him wasn't just low hanging. I mean, it was literally on the ground.
No, Kyrie, yeah, it bothered me, man, when I found out that the nigga. It bothered me.
I get it.
That's what I'm saying, yo. So like but it goes along with not putting these heroes on a pedestal for things other than the thing that made them
they're
a hero.
Good at. Right.
Facts.
Yo, Addy would absolutely
end up breaking the iPhone.
He absolutely would end up breaking.
It's funny because it's true.
I think that's one of those cases where something is funny because it's true.
It's so true. All right, so we got to get into this Clifford thing. Clifford, the big
red dog.
He just be on some other shit.
He
all
do
the time.
Let me see something here real quick. So I'm going to the article. That's.
Well, there are two articles. I'm gonna do the lesser one that leads into the big one.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're talking about the
T.I. says misogyny is what women find attractive about men.
Keep going. Right back.
Here's 9 other problematic sexist moments from Clifford Harris. T.I. is up to no good again. In a clip from his Expeditiously podcast, the rapper. Well, let me just say this. One of the worst thing, in my opinion, that has happened to Clifford T.I. Harris in his life was him starting this podcast. This podcast gave us Hyman Gate. This podcast gave us all these little things that put him so low or high, depending on which way you want to count it, on my stock drop list for 2020. And it's just ridiculous. Adequate said, man, he just continues to be a disappointment. That is correct, Eddie. Erica said, that's the dumbest crap I've ever heard. Whoa, let me continue. In the clip, which was just featured a portion of a longer video where the rapper chats to 3 black women about more of his thoughts on marriage, sex, and parental guidance. T.I. says that women are only attracted to men because of their player energy. According to his logic, misogyny is what draws women in. Quoting him, the women out there who say they want a man who ain't got no bitches, them women ain't really want a man who ain't got no bitches. So allow me to translate for those not fluent in Clifford. He's saying that these women that say they want a good man who is not sleeping around with other women don't really want what they think they want. Allow me to continue. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to translate all of it. Just think about a man who ain't got no bitches. Just think about a man who ain't got no bitches and that energy and how that is. Oh, see, one of my favorite things about the Southern, I don't know if it happens as much with white people, and now you're stuffing your gullet.
I need these.
Okay, that's fine. I'm only commenting on it because I'm jealous. So one of my favorite things about African American vernacular in the South is the dropping of the S. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that when I read this
as a tribute.
Yeah, as a tribute. Mainly because he's one of the reasons why I noticed it. Listening to him rap and all that other good stuff. So anyway. And then where we at? Just think about a man who ain't got no bitches and that energy and how that is and how that feels and what it look like. That's what attract you to that nigga. Because if he had bitches, that energy, that misogyny you speak so poorly of, that shit provide a vibe that you are obviously attracted to. It puts out pheromone. You understand me? And them pheromone call you to be attracted. And I'm not saying it is right to be that way or that it's wrong to be that way. I'm just saying the fact that is this way. I'm not trying to excuse, merely explain. Obviously, it is wrong to think that way. In addition to being just plainly inaccurate. After the years and years of T.I. saying problematic things to and about women, we put together a short list of some of the rapper's other noteworthy hot takes when it came to his life approach concerning the other sex.
Damn it. You hate to see it.
Number 1, Hyman Gate. Back in late 2019, T.I. revealed that he had been joining his daughter, Deja, on trips to the gynecologist every year to make sure her hymen was still intact. Obviously being very misinformed and someone with no regard for his daughter's privacy and boundaries, T.I. said that he and his daughter went through the routine so that he could ensure she was still a virgin. The news went viral over social media, and T.I. later went on Jada Pinkett's Smith's Facebook series Red Table Talk to say he was being unfairly judged for doing everything in his power to protect his daughter. In order to guide and direct, you have to have a certain level of control. In the age when black women are most
there wasn't no damn S over there,
unprotected, unattended, disregarded women on the planet, I'm being criticized because I'm going above and beyond because I'm willing to protect mine. The slimy little, grimy, chubby little fingered little boy who want to come in and defile the sanctity, anything that is the most important thing in my life, I'm going to handle that with extreme care. Okay. That's number 2. Mom shaming Tiny, then threatening to get her escape tour shut down. Back in early 2017, T.I. initially made it seem as though Tiny couldn't go on tour with her 90s girl group Escape because he didn't want her to take their daughter Eris along.
And he didn't want her to escape?
Shut up. In a heated clip from Family Hustle, when Tiny says she couldn't be away from Eris while on tour, the rapper told her, well, you need to stay on then. You need to stay here. That's the sacrifice you make as a parent. Life on the road is no place for no damn baby. It's the best for her to be in a stable place where she can wake up to a certain time, eat a certain time, play at a certain time, go to bed at a certain time. You grown. You can do what you want to do. You're a working woman. You can make any kind of decision you want. That baby is innocent. I'm telling you, you don't want no trouble out of me. I shut that whole thing down.
Now, wait a minute. So, when you say they take the S off, shouldn't that be I'll hut the whole thing down?
No, nigga, he don't. That's not in the beginning. It's at the end.
Oh, my fault.
Number 3, still being controlling towards Tiny, even when they were estranged. Even though the couple was separated at the time and facing a potential divorce, T.I. got on Instagram to publicly embarrass Tiny and encourage her and Tamar Braxton to clear away their issues. If you didn't know, in addition to Tamar and Tiny being close friends, Tiny is also the godmother to Tamar's son, Logan. Even though Tiny... Shut up! Oh. Even though Tiny and Tamar were beefing at the time and not speaking, in an attempt to keep their children out of it, Tiny took to social media to wish Logan a happy birthday when his first birthday rolled around back in 2017. Instead of just minding his business and leaving his wife and her friendships alone, T.I. left a comment under the sweet Instagram post telling Tiny and Tamar to get over that diva shit. Happy G-Day, Logan, growing up to a real polished young gentleman. All right, Tiny and Tamar, now y'all both get off y'all diva shit. Tiny and get on y'all godmama shit. Y'all too damn grown for this shit now.
Well, they on some sister shit. Tiny and Tamara. Tina.
That's not their names. Oh, it's not their names. Number 4, telling Tiny she can't have a voice unless she knows how to use that voice on Red Table Talk.
Interesting.
It's not about your voice. Go out there and get your voice, and it can be as loud as you want it to be. However, you must know how to use that voice. Now, the fact that you may have muted yourself, you could have always said whatever it is you wanted to say, even if it led to me saying, you know what, this ain't for me. That is the decision and the sacrifice that a woman must be willing to take for that voice. I never told you you couldn't say I had my list of how I want thing to go. When you were not okay with it anymore, which is understandable, you changed your mind. I went to prison. That caused you to explore a different part of your voice. You can't use your voice to go against me. We're supposed to be together. And that to me, maybe it was because I was so new to you. Maybe you hadn't learned how to control it yet. Number 5, having the boys could just do whatever mentality. Just last year, while speaking with The Hollywood Life, Zonique Pullins says she felt T.I., her stepfather, was really overbearing when it came to who the female children of their household were dating, but he didn't hold the boys in their romantic lives to the same level of scrutiny. Now that I'm a little older, it's gotten a little better for me, she said, speaking on T.I.'s parenting style, she added, but he is definitely super overprotective. I just hope that Eris doesn't get it as bad as me and Asia.
Yo, fam, just said stop, bro. That shit sounds.
That is what that's. Hey, it doesn't get as bad as being Deja. I always think that like Eris is going to have it worse. Since we were all younger, he's always been super protective over the girls, and it always seemed like the boys could just do whatever. My mom will always argue like You don't care that the boys go on dates. You let their girlfriends come over. You know we meet their girlfriends. It's all cool. It's like a regular thing. But you know, if I'm in a relationship and I bring my boyfriend over, the whole family has to talk to him. He has to go outside with Pops and have these hour-long conversations. The time he said he couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton because women make rash decisions emotionally. We got meat to get to, so I'm gonna skip. I'm just gonna read the headlines of these. Number 7, distancing himself from Iggy Azalea after she was no longer profitable to him.
Whatever.
I'm not holding him for that.
I'm not holding him for that either.
I'm sorry. I'm not holding him for that.
She said dumb shit all the time. And
yeah. Number 8, when he took jabs at Donald Trump by disrespecting his wife. Okay. You probably shouldn't have gone that route. You could have just went at him.
She didn't care, though.
Yeah.
She didn't care. Because remember, she wore that jacket that said, I don't really care.
Right. Facts. Oh, that's facts.
Why is that a big deal?
And number 9, spending time with his daughters, thought prevention hours. Yeah. All right. So the latest, and crazy enough, that's not the worst of it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the appetizer.
Well, before you move on to that one, real quickly, I have to say, this is another reason why we need a woman on this show, because there is a conversation to be had about the conditioning that Black people have here in this country and the conditioning that some women have because of the patriarchy here.
Okay.
Same way we was conditioned to accept certain shit, our women were too. And I saw women defending Hymengate.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that to me is a bigger conversation that I want to have, but we need to have that with a woman on.
I'm not about to fuss at women without a woman present.
No, exactly. I'm not doing that.
Not on a woman issue.
I'm not doing that.
So this is the main course, ladies and gentlemen. T.I. and Tiny released statement in response to sexual abuse allegations.
Here we go. Here we go again.
T.I. and Tiny have responded to the matter of fact, the point that you just made flows perfectly into the story. T.I. and Tiny have responded to the latest allegations from Sabrina Peterson, who previously said the Libra artist once held a gun to her head. The latest allegations, which arrived via screenshots of DMs from several women on Peterson's Instagram, see the couple being alleged to have engaged in, among other things, sexual abuse. In a series of Instagram story updates on Thursday, Peterson shared excerpts from conversations she's had with more than a dozen women. Among the accusations are that T.I. and Tiny allegedly required women to take drugs before entering their home, as well as reported instances of assault and alleged felicitation of sexual abuse.
The fuck?
Sis, I learned something this week. You never heal from the things you don't reveal. Speaking to your pain, past experiences, and getting them out allow you room to process them and cultivate some level of a healing plan. Also note, your silence is their power. They will do anything to discredit you and attempt to make you not feel or reveal your truth. I'm an empath, so I'm disturbed by what I'm finding out. It's heavy. There's a certain level of strength you give a mother when you violate or exploit her child on social media to pad your lies. You can come for me all you want, but when you put my child in the mix on things you know are true, then it's a problem. I can never remove my baby's image in that way from the internet, but I can make sure that when she's old enough to see it, that when he's old enough to see it, he knows what it was up and stuck. And my mama may be many things, but a liar isn't one of them. To my women that are speaking and mentally sorting out your experiences, I know it's a lot to process. I'm looking for a therapist for all victims now. You can't heal from what you never reveal. In an amended statement to Complex from a spokesperson for Tip and Tamika, a couple called the allegations egregiously appalling and alleged to have experienced difficulty with Peterson for more than 10 years. Now, let me stop for a second. Now, this is where a public relations person comes into play. If I'm T.I., right? And one of the big jokes that I run with about my image is that I use these big words, right?
You read my freaking mind. As soon as I heard they agreed,
and because of that, I leaned into it. Even made a podcast called Expeditiously because it happens to have the words TI, the letters TI next to each other in the word. Great branding, right?
Yes.
In my statement, for accusations such as these, I would not be using an egregiously appalling,
not at all,
as my
not at all. And
just
I warned niggas before. I warned niggas before when niggas was kind of celebrating T.I.'s verbiage. I said, be careful. Because I come from an era where guys would come home from jail. And they would attempt to expand their vocabulary using words that don't quite either A, mean what they think it means, or two, they not pronouncing it right. So it undercuts the effect they trying to have with that shit. And I said, that's why I'm always careful with.
No, and you're not helping your case with anyway. Okay. They are taking this matter very seriously, and if these allegations don't end, they will take appropriate legal action.
Oh, good for you.
Read the full statement below. Mr. and Mrs. Harris want to be on record and, more importantly, want the public to know they emphatically, they emphatically deny in the strongest way possible the egregiously appalling allegations being made against them by Sabrina Peterson. The Harrises have had difficulty with this woman for well over a decade. They are taking this matter very seriously. If these allegations don't end, they will take appropriate legal action. Tiny, by the way, of IG posts defended T.I. against the aforementioned allegation of
her name is in it too. So of course.
Hold up. So you want your abuser to train your sons? See, here's a picture of T.I. with the girl's sons.
Yeah.
Hold up. So you want your abuser to train your sons? He was just uncle 2 years ago. 2 years is a long time. Anyway, now when did you say my husband assaulted you? Did you change your mind or change it back? What's up with you today, Pooh? I'm confused. Stop harassing my family, you strange. Oh, you strange. That's the end of the sentence. Yeah. Okay.
Basically,
everybody.
So you're strange, but
I don't know. Everybody know you've been special.
Oh.
Please get help, but leave us alone.
Well, here's the thing about that. Minuscule, small, micro, tiny. Here's the thing about that. Right? Here's the thing about that. So in cases where people get abused, they often stick with the abuser for a while and include them in things in their life.
There's an entire psychological.
So you can't say just because. Come on, man.
There's an entire psychological syndrome that explains this exact behavior that you're describing. It's it's a well-known thing.
Come on, man.
At the time of this writing, neither T.I. or Tiny have further addressed any of the allegations. Of course, they haven't. I bet not.
No.
I promise you, the lawyer was like, "Tiny, why would you?" Tiny, what are you doing?
Why are you putting statements out? You fucking what? So you might as well fire me because basically what you're doing. If you gave me a job, right, that I must at all times keep water in this bucket, and then every time you come along with a screwdriver and punch holes in it, I can't do my job if you keep doing that.
Oh,
the fuck?
No. Like, bro, what are we? That's really that's the move?
Apparently so.
That's the move. You think? Okay,
That's what's hot in these streets.
If that's what you feel,
that's what's hot in these streets.
That's what you feel about this scenario. Then go and do what you want to do.
Yo, really? Is that?
Oh, my bad.
is that how
respectfully. Let me look at this woman's. Somebody made a statement a few hours ago stating that my accusations were false. My heart is broken by the stories I heard. I knew there was only one way to be a credible voice was to immediately take a lie detector test. Now, this is genius. While you and I know that the efficacy of lie detector tests is questionable at best,
A lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't know that. This was genius by her. This is the girl that's making the accusations. Mm-hmm. This makes sense. So immediately take a lie detector test. Both of them lied about me. Now I truly wonder how many others they will lie about. So she passed. Clearly, she passed there's a video. She passed the lie detector test. Let me see. More about the lie detector test. More about the lie detector test. Please stop telling me what a fan turned celebrity said about me on live. When a weapon was put to my head, this was a few years before anyone knew her. I'm not sure how someone can speak with such conviction about a person you have only been around to do their hair maybe 3 times and seen casually for more than 12 hours of my entire life. Okay. Now, here's the thing, and that's really funny for the reason that nobody's going to understand unless you happen to follow Kevin on stage. On his podcast, here's the thing. One of the special things about his podcast is that his co-host, Angel, is in the industry. The entertainment industry. When I say in the industry, I mean in the industry. Like she was on Insecure, she was on a bunch of different shows. Like, yeah, she and that's the one I was telling you about that had the Galaxy commercial where she was making a bunch of bank before.
Yeah.
So she in the industry. On their podcast, that is actually not open to the public. It's behind the paywall, right? Because it's a bonus episode. She confirmed that some of this is true.
Oh, damn it.
She knows somebody that was in these scenarios. Now, what she confirmed was true is that there would be parties, and at a certain part. Now, I'm not quoting her verbatim, and I didn't write notes. This is just my recollection of what she said.
And to be honest, it's another it's a witness. She's a witness.
Yeah, right.
But we still don't. This needs to be hashed out in court.
Absolutely. Right. So they were saying, well, but here's the thing about that. This bears the idea that you now have a witness to testify.
Though. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely
fair. But anyway, she's saying that there would be parties and there would be, hey, we about to do this. If you're going to join in with us, you have to take this Molly. And then we do what we do.
So wait a minute. Whoa. So now there's an issue with that, though. Because it would be one thing if they slipped her the Molly. If they came to you and said, you have to take this Molly to participate, and then you took that Molly to participate, is it coercion?
That is the same thing Angel asked. She connected out in these streets. She had someone that was a lawyer who she was texting while they were talking about it because she was trying to get an understanding. Because the common idea is, oh, well, the logic train that you take in this scenario, if you're not a piece of shit, is okay. We have gotten to the understanding that under inebriation you cannot give consent.
Right.
We've gotten to that.
We know that.
We've reached that understanding.
No, we've reached that understanding. Everybody ain't reached it. Some of y'all still don't understand consent.
Well, we've gotten there, but if you explain to the person that it's mandatory for them to be under the influence before they're under the influence and they consent to that, how does that work? The lawyer said, you can give consent to become inebriated. Okay. You can, but that's where the gray area starts, because without inebriation in the equation, consent is a present situation.
Facts.
It is
Facts.
ever changing
Facts.
scenario. So
facts.
you can consent to something and then later say, no,
I don't want
to do this.
Right. Right.
But you're inebriated now.
Right.
So he said it's a very gray area.
Sounds it. I wouldn't want to be the one that had to figure this out.
Bruh.
I wouldn't want to be the one that had to figure this out.
Listen.
Because it's really hard to say. Because again, and then on top, hey, this got layers. Because
it's potential sex trafficking charges.
Oh, jeez.
Potential sex trafficking charges. Potential coercion. Yeah, it's deep.
So I want to circle back around to something we talked about earlier. About there was a time when you didn't have power, you didn't have resources, and you say, "Well, I would never do this," and I can't stand the fact that these people do that. And then we argued earlier that we don't really know.
Yeah, you don't really know.
Yeah. I would love to think that you wouldn't. I would. I would love to think that I wouldn't. I'm fairly certain. But my question for T.I., let's say that everything him and Tiny is being accused of is 100% accurate. At what point did you stop thinking the way Broke Clifford would have saw that? I mean, if there was
I would argue before he met Tiny.
That shit crazy.
That would be my argument. I mean, it's absolutely no way for me to prove it, but
right.
I would argue before he met Tiny.
Because like sitting here now,
he had some money. He had some money before he met Tiny.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, seeing why we sitting here and we can just reading the account tell how absolutely disgusting what he's being accused of is.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely disgusting. And how we sit back and go, yo,
let's be fair. Let's be fair in this instance. What they're being accused of.
What they're being accused of. And I'm like, so we sit here now, we go, come on, dog, what are you doing? You're in Marvel movies. What the fuck are you doing? But at what point did he learn not to have that response? Like if somebody would have came to him with this exact same account about somebody else, back before he was, were you a piece of shit then? Where you'd have been like, hey, that sounds cool, dog. Or were you like us, like, come on, man, what? When did that happen to you? What process took place? Was it the adoring fans that came running, see every time you appeared somewhere and they come mobbing you? Was it the first time that somebody told you, yo, that song dope as shit? Was it the first time you went on Billboard? At what point did you think that all of a sudden something like that wouldn't have elicited the response that we have into it right now? Because I really would like to know that shit.
I'm curious as well. Because
and one other thing about that, you obviously know that's some fuck shit. Because if you're lying about it now, it would be the fact that you're lying about it now that lets us know this is some fucked up shit.
But here's my thing. Allow me to push back for a second. And Lord knows the last thing I ever want to do is defend Clifford.
The big red dog.
But what if he was at least savvy enough to not make a social media post, right? Yeah. That statement doesn't deny anything specifically.
No, it doesn't.
So he might be moving under the assumption that it's on the up and up because they agreed to the drug part of it.
Yeah.
So he might think that they've done nothing wrong.
My question is, why is the Molly like what is? I get what the effect of it.
What Angel said is what Angel said is basically the idea is it's a preemptive measure to not have. Basically, they into some freaky shit.
Yeah.
So the idea is, by the time you get in there, they don't want the activity to be interrupted because you got freaked out.
See, and this is a problem because when you freak out over certain things that you psychologically freak out over, these are barriers. A lot of these barriers are here to protect you. You freaked out for good reason because your psyche having a problem with that. So that's the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you're giving somebody some sort of psychoactive drug that breaks that barrier down for the specific purpose, that y'all about to do some stuff that this person ordinarily would have had the barrier up to break that barrier. It's a little creepy. Like, it's just, I know ordinarily, SBJ, you wouldn't put your mouth on the gas pipe of a car and inhale deeply. But first take this drug so that when I suggest it to you, you won't have a problem with it. Like, it's something about that is just, it's really creepy, man. Like,
yeah, very much so.
Jeez. And again, I simply ask, at what point did your privilege, the privilege that you have earned through music, movies, content, whatever, that got you to this point, did that erode your barrier?
I would argue it probably didn't. Now that I think about it, and I'm reverse engineering, it didn't, because we all were raised in these weird ideas that a bunch of these things are just what it is. Like, this is how things work. And I feel like for someone in his situation, he may have personally not ever ran into the stimulus that allowed him to grow out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he ran into a stimulus that made it more normal. So
yeah, that
would be my argument for him.
That tracks. I just wonder.
Rick Ross had a whole song talking about putting Molly in a drink. She ain't even know it. Like, that whole thing, like, and it was a hit song.
Yes, it was. And so by that fact, I'm assuming that at least some of these people that loved the song had no problem with what he said there, because of the fact that this was considered a norm.
It was
for certain segments of people. That shit was.
I want to make a distinction. I want to make a distinction for anybody who says that something someone said in the past doesn't matter because everybody was blah blah blah. I hate
that. Yo.
I hate that. Yeah, but I will allow for the excuse that popular opinion hadn't permeated that.
Well, yeah.
Right. So it's like with that, like the example that we're talking about with the Rick Ross song. I'm fine with people clowning him and trolling him about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that is one of those scenarios where, okay, it's reasonable to expect that growth has happened, because how society was back then,
right?
Nobody really batted a fucking eye. Like, it wasn't this uproar when that came out.
And it definitely depends on what year.
Yeah,
it definitely
there
depends
were
on
likely
what year.
People complaining about it. I'm sure there were.
Oh yeah,
it just didn't permeate society.
Because to be honest, I remember people talking about that in a negative way when I was in my 20s.
Sure, yeah.
So at the very least, the idea that was some shit that you should, that's crazy.
Yo,
and
the example I was
warning girls, yo, don't just put your drink down
somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good. The hold that thought. To go back to an example that me and Eddie frequently talk about, and I always go back to DMX first album. If you got a daughter older than 15,
yo, that shit.
If you know, you
crazy.
know. I'm not gonna finish that line.
Yo, at the time, but see, I was grown at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time when that's a bar I would never repeat that, and my friends wouldn't. Like, we fuck with D, but that to us was, this is his attempt of being as shocking as possible for the song. It wasn't something that the rest of us was looking at going, yeah, that tracks.
Right.
It wasn't. No.
Right. I'm gonna say, yeah, she ain't even know it definitely openly glorifies rape. In fact, hip hop has been doing that shit since the Beastie Boys. Not saying hip hop, but clowns in hip hop. I want to amend that. No, hip hop.
It's hip hop.
No, it's hip hop.
It's hip hop.
No, it's absolutely hip hop.
It's hip hop, because hip hop is a culture. Hip hop is a culture, and inside cultures there are customs and mores and traditions and shit like that.
Now, sure, there are outside influences that influence that, but still,
hip hop was not created in a vacuum.
Right.
Hip hop was not created in a vacuum.
But still, yes, absolutely, it's hip hop. Hip hop is one of the. Listen, again, anybody knows me knows how much I love rap, but hip hop is one of the most problematic, toxic things that has ever existed.
There is a lot of toxic stuff in that culture.
1,000%.
Just like, because again, I always tell people, these subcultures grew out of a larger culture.
Yep.
The larger culture is sick.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think that any subculture that comes out of that is not going to have some of the sickness in it?
Absolutely.
It's going to be kind of baked in the cake.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, without question. So it's like, so my answer is, yeah, I don't think he can really do that. Like, he can't really. I think it was a scenario where, like I said, he came from this, and it was never a switch flipped from one to the other. It was, I'm on the negative end of it, and I never got really that stimulus to push me to the positive end of it. My stimulus that I got pushed me further down the deep end.
Now, wait a minute.
Because
how long ago was she saying this stuff happened, though?
That I'm not sure of.
But
apparently, according to Angel, this has been happening for years. This is a relative. I think Agma alluded to it. This is an industry people know.
I know.
Yeah. And it's been happening for years. Again, I think it's a situation where, like,
that's a good point there. Yo, Agma, that's a good point. Like, Rick Ross got pushback, but the Beastie Boys didn't. I think for the Spanish, but I think that's because this was like the 80s.
Well, not just the time period, but the period of time.
Mm-hmm.
The difference, like, this started, that Ross song was out in the 2000s,
right?
And years later, it became a big deal,
right?
So let's say it came out in 2007, and the backlash came in 2012. That's 5 years.
Right.
We're only going back 5 years.
Yeah.
For the Beastie Boys, you would have to have gone back 25 years.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's a little different. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, they're always. This is what I try to fight. White privilege is a thing. We all know it. There are some of us who don't want to admit it. Fine, whatever. That's not the argument that I'm making. But my argument is, we have evidence. We don't need to, not saying that this is what you're doing, Agma.
Right.
But we have evidence. We don't need to apply it to things where it's not necessary to apply. Like, there's evidence for specific individual situations where we got enough, like you're prosecuting someone. Nah, we got enough charges. These charges will do what they're going to do. We don't really have to.
Right.
Now, funny enough, going back to Trump, I know what I said at the beginning of the episode, but it's going to be a slow transition, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
We're going back to Trump with the pardons and things. That lawyer that I share with y'all a lot, he did a video on the pardons, and he was saying some of them don't matter. Some of them are for cases in which
that aren't state. I mean that are state.
But not even that. Some of them are for cases where these things being pardoned doesn't really help the person, because the prosecutor can still call for more charges.
Yeah.
They're still at a point where they can call for more charges that they may not have called for because they had what they needed. Like I was just talking about, we got what we need. This person's going away. Oh, you're being pardoned? Okay, well, now here's this.
Right.
You've done this, you did this, you did this. So it's a lot.
I would say that Beast Boys got away with a lot of shit back then that
absolutely
it wasn't going to fly with black artists. And I'm a contemporary of
the Kodak. So that might have been what he was talking. He might have been talking about the Kodak situation, because
I'm just saying, like, I'm a contemporary of those guys. I remember when they were fresh, new, spanking, blah blah blah, and they got away with a lot of stuff artistically in other ways that black artists would not have gotten away from.
Without question.
No way.
Without question.
So I would just simply say that the other thing about the Spanish Fly thing is there was one time they sold that on shelves. So
absolutely,
when you think about it from that standpoint,
I mean, Coke was sold on shelf too.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago.
But when you think about it from that perspective, that gives you a sense of what society thought, even if it was considered risque, it wasn't considered criminal.
Right.
And not so much to the point where, they're going to erase everything you ever did when you do some shit like that. That's it. They caught you. You done. You bye. You know what I'm saying? Right. It wasn't at that point, even though, but I must say, even back then, I remember aunts and stuff like that saying shit like, yo, do not don't put your drink down nowhere. Don't, like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and for the record, that Spanish Fly shit, from everything that I've heard about it, even back then, doesn't work like that. But it can mess up a girl's urinary tract. Absolutely do that.
That's not good.
Nah, it's not good at all. But it ain't good to be putting pills of no kind in somebody's fucking food or drink unbeknownst to them. And I gotta say, in this case, the biggest problem that's going to happen in this case is going to be over consent. I guarantee you, that's going to be the thing right there that they're going to argue about the most.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to argue about that shit the most.
Absolutely. Without question.
Argument says, yeah, that's the point I was making to him. They let shit slide that they never would have with black artists. Cannibal Corpse can make more gore porn in music in the 80s, even though they got some pushback. It was nothing compared to what artists in hip-hop get for being controversial. Like, real talk, I remember there were artists that were on some Black Power shit. They absolutely was on some Black Power shit. I remember them getting pushback. I remember, whose wife was that?
Ice-T? No, I have no idea what you're talking about, my guy.
Yeah, no, it was some. I forget which vice president it was, but their
Tipper?
wife was. Tipper
was it
Ward.
Tipper?
It was Tipper. She was on that shit. She was
really?
on that shit.
Huh.
She was on that shit, and that's why you can't even say it's just conservative. Nah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Here's the thing about this comment. This is going to make me sound heartless.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what these niche white genres get away with verbally, because they aren't speaking to my demographic.
That doesn't make you heartless. That just makes you prioritizing what the harm.
Yeah, like I don't care. I don't care about them talking about gore and all this other shit when people that specifically are sent to speak to my people are glorifying misogyny and all this other shit. Like my moral compass, I can acknowledge them as being wrong for it, but I don't care what pushback or out backlash they get because they're not talking to my people.
Yeah, but I will say this: since our folks, unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately, we don't have our own nation. We don't have we don't have that sort of shit. So it's when you're dealing with the legal system and the perception, it is kind of blended in because, like we said before, like a lot of people were saying before, it's not that we wanted the cops, to beat up more white people.
I did.
We want you to stop beating up us for things you don't beat up nobody else for.
I'm with Chris Rock on that one. He started that special off saying, "I would love to live in the world.
Ass.
I would love to live in a world where an equal amount of white kids are shot." Because that could mean either one. That could mean you shoot more white kids, or it could mean you shoot less black kids.
Okay, that's true, but it could also mean if you live in that world that there's more. Let's say the cops are completely justified for doing it. That means you live in a world where there is way too many criminals deserving to be shot, and as an average civilian, you get caught up in that crossfire more than the cops do.
That's a fact.
Because those type of motherfuckers will come at you, your Grammy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They come at all of them. So
I think it's worth it.
I don't think it's worth it.
I think it's worth it.
You're not coming at my Grammys.
Listen, I don't want it. Hold up. I don't want it. But if I have to try to be objective, if I have to try to be objective, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Look, all I'm saying is, when in that situation, I rarely think about me.
Yeah.
I think about my daughter walking down the street, and some nutbag, my son on his way to the studio, and some nutbag, my wife coming out of Sam's Club, and some nutbag.
Thanks.
Because I can handle myself.
Right.
At least up until I'm 70. Then it's about the burner. You know I got the burner. You know I got the burner. But the whole thing is, like, if they do stuff to penalize, this is also part of the systemic shit. If they do something to penalize, overly penalize, I should say, black artists, to prevent them from making money, to prevent them from having, shows and this sort of thing, that still kind of goes into the pot of you're rigging the system so that the people who traditionally, historically have been up here stay up here, and people that have historically been down here stay down there.
I agree, but you started that sentence with the word "if." So now I have to ask you, give me examples where these criticisms have stopped black people's money.
Oh, and you're talking about in music? Oh, yeah. Listen, take NWA for a second. It got to a point where they couldn't get insurance. And you need insurance at these venues that had these shows. They couldn't get insurance for saying things that was less inflammatory than some of the devil worshiping, I'll kill everything, and
I have a question.
And this stuff like that.
I have a question, because you were there. I saw the movie.
Right.
Did the riots have not riots, but did the unrest have anything to do with that?
With them?
Was it what I'm at? So I don't think it would be. I don't want to be. Eddie is dumb.
He's
I don't want to be. I don't want to be. What's the word I'm looking for? Fact or fiction. There was unrest at these shows.
Yeah, and a lot of those unrest was because of what the police did. Not
absolutely, no, absolutely, 1,000%, 1,000%. So my argument would be that maybe that was happenstance. Happenstance versus a targeted thing from the people that are doing the insurance, not the police or
no. I'm not even. I agree. I know where you're going with that. I'm not even saying that the insurance people did anything wrong.
Got you. Okay.
What I'm
no,
saying,
that was me clarifying.
Right. What I'm saying is the police never come out there to stop the eating dead bodies motherfuckers from saying
absolutely
dead bodies or raping
Thanks.
corpses motherfuckers who talk about raping corpses. The police don't come out there, so the unrest doesn't begin.
Right.
So it's about perception.
But my thing is that was about I feel like that's an anomaly because that was about bucking authority. That wasn't the issues that I'm talking about. That wasn't misogyny. That wasn't the drugs. That wasn't these things. I'm talking about for these things.
No, listen.
Not for the
NWA talked about drugs.
Nigga, NWA talked about drugs
all that
and
shit.
all that shit.
That shit.
That wasn't why the police were there. The police were there because of the fuck the police and all that stuff.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about instances where money was stopped for us in music because of the stuff that I'm talking about. Because of the misogyny and stuff like that. Because of the drugs.
Nah, I don't ever recall
that's my argument. That's what I'm saying. I get the authority thing because that's directly challenging. I get that. I'm talking about the things that are directly, not indirectly, bad for our people. And as an influence, that's what I'm talking.
As an influence, okay. See, that's the disconnect.
Yeah,
you're talking about the influence. I'm talking about what's bad for our people overall. It's bad for us to for them to have a perception of us that's lower or lesser than everybody else because their behavior to us, as a result of that,
it's going to reflect.
Yeah, it's going to reflect.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to get.
But I'm talking about directly influencing our people.
Right.
I want the media to be as harsh on them as possible,
right?
In order to possibly stop them, because it's not a situation where they've been stopped from making money for it,
right?
If we're going with the power structure, they want them to keep pushing these messages. So that's what I'm talking about,
right?
That's what I'm talking about when I talk about backlash from one person talking about something to another talking about something. Like, I'm not talking about any situation where the police may have a problem with Public Enemy or the police may have a problem with fuck the police. No, I'm not talking about that stuff. I get that part of it.
Right.
I'm talking about the stuff that's like directly dangerous influence-wise to our people.
But that's the other thing. It's chicken or the egg too, because I would argue that the misogyny and all that other stuff, it didn't just originate, but again,
hell no.
A daddy that was teaching. That was Cap's got to teach something. Like it was a lot of that. So it's basically like one thing Ice-T used to say, that his music, hip hop, a lot of hip hop was reflecting what society was out there back to society. So it's like everyone's getting these messages, regardless of color. If you live here in this country, you're receiving these messages. And there are going to be people that's going to be taking that message, put it in the mirror, and put it right back out there. The only people that get penalized for doing that, though, certain of it, some of it, not all of it, certain of it is a certain demographics. Like if I already
that's my argument.
Right.
That is my argument. I don't care about them getting penalized for the stuff that directly influences us to do dumb shit. I don't care about that. I want them to be penalized for that more. Absolutely. If another demographic is peddling these same exact things and they're not getting penalized, I don't care because they're not peddling it to us.
Right. But the problem is, though, the reason these motherfuckers think they should be able to do it. Because the other people do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you a classic example. In the early 70s, you look at the way some of these rappers dressed.
Yeah.
You know who they were dressing like?
Rock stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Dre and the Get Down and all that. Yeah.
I think it's hard to make the separation because back in the 60s, y'all didn't want to separate. So it's hard.
I'll fight back with this. Your mama don't care what your friends doing.
She don't, but the government ain't my mama.
The government is your mama.
No. That's the problem in the first place. that's the problem in the first place. That's the problem in the first place. That's the problem. Look, I think we've had a breakthrough.
Right.
That's the problem in the first place. Nah, my mama's supposed to feel that way. She's supposed to feel that way. Government ain't that. Like, what the fuck, you can't, what? And I feel like the government didn't do its job. It didn't do its job. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so we're stating obvious shit now?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we doing?
You're saying. And then the other problem makes all of this kind of crazy because then you start getting into the free speech aspect of it, which is a complete shit show. And especially here in this country, because most people don't understand what the fuck that shit.
Not at all.
You know what I'm
saying?
Why
we had an entire episode about it.
Right. It's a shit show. It's a goddamn shit show. So it's like all things being equal when nothing is equal. I always tend to lean toward, because I know, listen, there is a deluge of bullshit tossed in our lap. None of it's fair, but it's going to be what it is.
It is what it is.
So I don't typically feel the need to be fair, because it's not even. It's like if all things was considered equal, and I saw the bad shit happening, that's why I relate to your point about I don't care what they did. You know what I'm saying? That's why I relate to that. All things considered equal, though, I'm not giving nobody because they ain't giving me.
You ain't getting no pass.
Not giving me no pass. They ain't saying, well, you guys have got to kind of understand he was raised in Emerson Village. He was a teenage doing the crack epidemic. They don't give a
They like, fuck all that. Fuck all that.
What'd he do? Look, fuck all that.
What you talking about, nigga?
What'd he do? And what he to use my Ice Cube voice, what'd he say? What'd he do? And what'd he say? Not. But he was brought up in a broken home.
No, what'd he look like though?
Yeah, what'd he look like? He was wearing a hoodie. Oh, that's why he shot him. He shouldn't have worn a hoodie. What the fuck is you doing? He was on his way to work. Yeah, but 15 years before that schedule, he did something. So
yeah. 15 years ago, someone unrelated to him in a different state did something similar to that with this whole situation. So he has to be wrong.
And that's why, like I said, a lot of times I really don't feel the need to be fair, to lean into being fair, because for what? I don't get no points for that. They're not gonna say, you know what? You was wrong in what we usually do to people like you when you wrong.
You know, the funny thing about
we're gonna stop though, because
I don't feel an overabundance of wanting to be fair either, because we're, like you said, we're adults. We don't expect ice cream for dinner every day.
Don't.
That's not what's going on in the situation. That's why I'm being selfish with my team.
Right. That's why I said I understand. Like, you're prioritizing the harm to your people. I'm just expanding the bubble, saying it's all harm. It's harm in a different way. It's harm in a different way. It's all harm.
Yeah. It's all. Look,
we're always facts. We're always, because of where we stand on that ladder, we're always going to get smacked with everything harder than others. So, I mean, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yo, that just made me unrelated. This just made me think of something that my supervisor, who's not actually my supervisor, said at work the other day. I talked about it on the show.
Hattie said, "Remember when y'all looked out for us? Here's some back. Doesn't happen."
Yeah, it's not a real thing. It's not a real thing. It's not a real thing. But I referenced this on a show, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, where there was an issue at one of the jobs, and the girl didn't understand why I told her what I told her, so she keep asking questions. No, nigga, I don't need you to understand this particular thing. I need you to do it. Actually, I don't even need you to do it. I just need you to hear me tell you what to do. Right. You don't got to do it.
Because whatever you choose after that, whatever the result's going to be, that's going to be on you.
I'm going to do it. I did my job.
Facts.
So that ended up expanding to the whole company, the issue, as I thought it would. I figured it would. And it ended up expanding to the whole company. And we put in a ticket with the company that it's with. And matter of fact, I can say them, fuck them, because they just had some, they just had some fucked up shit happen. Like one of their people got got arrested for charges because it's a security company, ADT. They got one of their people got arrested, I think in Texas, because what he was doing is he was taking inventory of addresses of attractive to him customers and finding a way to put his personal email address on the list of people who can access their cameras in their house and watching them have sex.
He needs his ass beat.
Yeah. So fuck ADT.
His ass beat, yo.
I can say this. So they have. So if you've ever, it's just some a little bit of tech advice. If you ever seen, you went to go to a website and you got a message saying this website isn't safe, and there's a little, if you're using Chrome, there's a little blue button that says advanced, and you click on advanced, it gives you the option normally to continue anyway or not go to the website, because at the end of the day, it may not be safe, but there's no real indication that it's problematic.
Right.
But we're letting you know, and we're giving you the opportunity to not go.
Right.
Well, that's how it normally works. But in this scenario, when you click on the advanced button, there's no option to continue. It specifically says that this website is written in some way that's not that doesn't look right. We don't trust it. We're not letting you go any further. So that's what's happening with this company at our place and probably other places too. I don't know. But so that's what's happening. So it's an issue with them. It's something that they may have changed or something that may not jive with Chrome's standards of security or whatever the case may be. So we get the email out to them, and eventually we got to somebody that's like, all right, we're going to look into it. Let your people know that from this point, they can call me and fax me the information and I'll take care of it.
Right.
So we sent out that email to all the people. This is what y'all gotta do if y'all get this. Call them, fax them, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
To maybe a week later, my other coworker, he's like, yeah, this one person is the only person that's called me this entire time about this. And my supervisor said, this is not our job. This is not our responsibility. Shit doesn't roll uphill.
Facts.
And I said, yo, I've never heard that expressed that way.
But she's right.
She is so right.
She's right. Shit doesn't run uphill.
Shit doesn't roll uphill.
I mean, if you're on Titan after that,
it's different. It's a couple of very specific scenarios.
Kind of fucked
but in general, shit doesn't roll uphill. No. Nah, bro, y'all got to deal with that. That's on y'all.
And sometimes, I feel you, because sometimes it's like, I got enough to worry about over here. Mm-hmm. This is not. That's what it is.
Because what happens with our company generally is if something breaks in a specific way, it ends up somehow being our responsibility.
Yeah, see,
we're supposed to be IT. Like, nah, B. We got enough things on our plate.
We got enough things to deal with. Again, this is why, like I said, certain things. That's why I relate when you say certain things. Just think they ain't my issue, because not directly. Because I'm dealing with so much. I literally have an arm full of groceries. Mm-hmm. Some motherfucker over there got a Cheetos bag, and it fell. And now, do I drop my groceries to pick up that Cheetos bag?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or do I just mind my fucking business? You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to keep going. I'm going to come back for you. I'm going to come back for you.
Ogma says it's been blacklisted as riddled with malware.
Yep.
Generally, that message will appear even if a site doesn't have a valid certificate or something innocuous. But if the browser is blocking it completely, the link is
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, a good majority of the time, it'll probably because you mistyped the link.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that happens a lot.
But especially in this scenario, but in this scenario, it was a bookmark. Right. So nobody was typing it. Nobody was typing it. So
damn it.
I mean,
Addie's ass. The petty in me would mind my business. I would hope for the best for them.
I mean,
see now,
I can't be mad at
you going further than me. Because I ain't hoping for the best. See, I am literally, but I'm not hoping for the worst either. I'm literally just, I'm out of it. Right. I'm out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Like I said, I might come back, but I'm not going to stop because I don't have the capability. I don't have the capacity.
I'm gonna tell you as far as what I'll do, how my particular empathy goes in that, and I'm gonna use that exact same situation with me with a bag full of arm full of groceries and him with the Doritos bag. I'm not going to help him when it drops. I'm going to keep going. But on my way back, if I see that a car ran over it because he couldn't get it in time, or somebody stepped on it, they was walking because he couldn't get it in time, my empathy would be like, damn, I'm sure the shit was good too.
Not true.
Keep going.
Hold up. You might be onto something. I ain't gonna hold you. You might be onto something. You might be into something. You might be into something.
I'm like, that shit probably was good.
Like, damn, man, they my favorite kind too, yo.
Right.
Man, you had the sweet chili joints. Come on, man.
Damn, man, them motherfuckers.
You know what? I actually might be mad at him.
Yo, right now, why are you so clumsy?
Why was you?
That's how my empathy works. Like, how you fuck
like,
that up, yo?
Why would you allow a perfectly good bag of Doritos to be wasted?
You had one job.
Just the one. You was there. You was there. I made it all the way up the steps and put my shit down, came back, and you weren't able to.
Come on, man.
Absolutely.
And I might be mad that you littered. It's still there. Why you ain't picking up throwing trash?
Yo. Come on now. We're going to deal with ceremony now? You're performing a YouTube funeral for the bag of chips? Pick this shit up and throw it away, man.
Yo.
Or if you're one of the more magnanimous among us, pick it up and eat it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yo,
the wheel ain't touched the chips.
I'm just saying. It's just hit the bag and crushed them a little bit.
It just touched the bag and crushed them a little bit.
There
we go.
Hold up. Og would say, you have enough empathy to go back and rub it in.
I mean, it depends on the scenario for real.
Look, Addy, like, what a waste, man.
Fab said this went totally left. Addy said you paid money to litter, my guy. Yo, real shit. Like, yo, you spent all this money. I know that bag was expensive, my guy. Yo, I know you spent a good $350.
Come on that bag.
On this bag. Yeah, so you spent that just to litter? Come on, pick that shit up, man.
Pick that shit up, yo. Like, but see, now Fab want to know how this went left. All we doing is we're trying to explain
the natural progression
of our empathy. Yes. Everyone else has different levels, but I got too much. I've got too much.
Got a lot going on, man.
I can barely see in front of me with all these bags.
Yeah.
So,
yo, it's to the point now that we're so unique in the people that I've actually come across, that I question when someone agrees with me sometimes. Like, who sent you?
You should.
Where did you? Because I was talking to this girl about like what I do, and I was explaining to her the whole photography, blah 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 blah. Right. And I was like, if I were ever to like decide to be in a relationship, that person would have to
understand,
be empathetic of what it is that I do.
Right.
And she's like, what you mean? I'm like, yeah, my ex had issues, photo shoots, women. There's the thing. And her reaction to that was like, what the fuck? Why would somebody react that way? Photo shoots are absolutely going to involve women. That's just how that goes. And I'm like,
who sent you?
To her, I said, yeah. But in my head, I'm like,
who sent you?
What's going on here?
Well, I applaud you for having the self-awareness to recognize that if someone agrees with you,
me specifically,
you need to see if someone brought them. Because
what is going on here?
Because you're trash. And
nigga.
The only reason I think that we get along because we're a very similar type of trash.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
No, that's literally why.
That's where we at with it.
That's why Addie's here.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
I'm just saying. That's why Keith's here.
Facts.
I'm saying that's why
Now Fab is the yin to my yang.
Yeah, well, you need a Fab.
In the scenarios where I'm trash,
you need a Fab.
He's not.
You need.
And vice
we
versa.
all need that. We all need. Who is my Fab, yo?
See, because like for instance, Fab will let you slide on some shit that I won't let you slide on.
Right.
But once you cross that a certain line, it flips.
You know what I think happened? God damn it!
You got rid of your Fab?
I got another breakthrough today.
You got rid of your Fab?
I used to be people's Fab.
Oh.
Yo, niggas be tripping when they tell them, yo, some of the niggas that I hung out with.
Oh, well, true.
Ass, yo.
True.
Ass, yo.
That
Ass.
sense.
You know what I'm saying? So that basically what I'm saying now is, no, you are trash, Adequate.
Eddie, let's not
allow me to disabuse you of the idea
that
you don't belong in a
I thought we were sitting here having a serious conversation.
And then he gonna come here
and then you gonna come here with this bullshit. I don't understand.
Lies from the pit of hell.
I don't like it. 0 stars.
I think that's what happened. I think I was people's Fab. I was my man Dennis Fab.
Yeah.
I was even, and then once as you develop more layers, I literally there's a villain origin story here somewhere.
There is.
There is, yo. Yeah, because I was.
Yeah, for me too. Because I used to don't get me wrong. The at the core of me, I am still the compassionate, caring for the everyman person at the core of me.
It's at the core. It's there. Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I have lost a lot of capacity to display that outwardly, just due to things I've seen and things I've experienced.
Lost, yo. It's paradise lost. Yo. It's paradise. Yo, I am, and I didn't even think about it previously before we had this conversation. I was a lot of these guys like Marlon said. Marlon said that one of the reasons he did not want to introduce certain things to me is because I represented for him the childishness of youth and still having that. And Marlon left that shit a long time ago.
Hold on. So, pardon me, real quick. Mm-hmm. Adequate said, "How big is that core?" Is the question. You know what? I would like to say. All right. Here's the thing. I read this article recently, and I never thought that it would come up in conversation, but here we go.
Here we are.
Yeah. So it stated that more people need to be kind and less people need to be nice, and more people need to know the difference between the two. The example that they gave was that people on the West Coast tend to be nicer and people on the East Coast tend to be more kind. So let me explain. Kindness addresses the need.
Right.
So the article was saying in Philly, you're likely, if you're walking around in the cold without a jacket on, you're highly likely to see someone come cuss you the fuck out and hand you their jacket.
Right. Like, in other words, it's fucking cold out here. You fucking dumb. Put this jacket on.
What the fuck are you doing? Take this goddamn jacket. What are you doing out here, man?
Right.
That's not nice. Nice.
It is kind.
Nice addresses feelings.
Right.
And I think that's the transition that I've made in my life. I used to be much nicer. Now I'm much more kind. If I can acknowledge what the need is,
right,
that's what I'm attempting to address.
Well, I gotta say, at least you have found a way to describe. I don't really have a description now for where I'm at. I just know that I'm not what I was completely. I keep it real with you. I'm much more callous now.
Yeah.
I'm much more callous when it comes to certain things, and I prioritize. I try to jump to what is the most amount of harm or most amount of good.
Mm.
And if you are doing, like, I tend to see things in macro a lot of times. If you're doing shit that overall is bad, in my view, for the most amount of people, fuck you.
Right.
If my situation overall is far worse, if I'm getting far more shit for the least bit of stuff than the other people, then fuck them and fuck that system too. And I'm going to be callous towards the shit, that little itty bitty shit you're going to, especially if I think you're not acknowledging and you're trying to make excuses for the huge pile of shit that has been tossed over here on an almost constant basis. You're making excuses for that. You're part of the problem.
Right.
And it's like, so I don't feel bad. It's like, for instance, when that shit happened over there in Nevada a few years ago, where at the Bundy Ranch, when them people whipped guns out, and pointed them at federal agents, and nobody got shot. There was motherfuckers on bridges, motherfuckers on rooftops, motherfuckers in the pickup trucks, and they all got guns pointed at federal agents for some rich rancher. And nobody got shot. They didn't send the military in there. They didn't do shit. Let me look like I'm reaching. Let me look like, if I'm in a situation where I'm reaching, it can eat. There has been situations where they literally told the guy to give him his ID. He reached for his ID and they shot him. So when that situation flipped around, and they took over that little small nature outpost federal building, and the old guy got killed, I felt nothing.
Right.
And I had people try to shame me for feeling nothing online. I was like, what did you feel? Hold up. They just took over a federal building.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you ain't even go that far back. The girl that got shot, the girl that was murdered. Well, not murdered. Murdered is it still murder?
What you mean? Explain.
She was killed by the Capitol Police because
that one, yeah, no, it's not murder.
It's not murder. Yeah, it's not murder.
It's not murder.
The girl that was killed.
Right.
Same scenario.
It's the same thing. You can't shame me for that because, like I said, I've been in George Floyd's situation. I just didn't die from it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't shame me for looking at these motherfuckers who did way worse. For doing shit I expect you to get shot for.
Yeah.
I expect you're taking over a federal building.
Right.
They're going to shoot you.
Yeah. Oh,
you try to break into the Capitol, they're going to shoot you.
This is going to be bloody.
It's going to be, I've had that expectation.
Remember the Alamo.
Right. And like, look, Addie just said, she should have complied.
Yep.
I mean, at a certain point, right, at the core of me, the landing that was on that 204 Murray E. Rodman in that schoolyard, that guy doesn't want to see anybody get fucked up.
Facts.
But I am fucking 40 some odd years away from that kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have, like, at a certain point, even if I'm not rooting for your downfall, if you're somebody that really just you're part of the problems in my life, I may not be rooting for your downfall, but I don't care when it happens either. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Fuck you want from me.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And I'm sure at some point that's going to cost me, but I kind of think.
Yeah, maybe.
I kind of
this ain't a movie, dog. The quote
exactly. JT. You know what I'm saying?
That's not. You don't always get your comeuppance.
No, and I kind of feel like whatever the cost is, I benefited from it from mental health.
Maybe,
because if I sat there and allowed how unfair a lot of this shit was to really affect me on the level that I saw January 6th, because that's what happened. That's what happened with them. That's what happened with them. Then I would have been out there just for a different reason.
Right.
And maybe not on January 6th doing something. But I have to have that show because I have to stay somewhat together. Like my sister, if she even still here, she told me she was afraid for me years ago that I was going to do something because of how angry I was. That I was going to do something, that I had no business doing.
Right.
That can only end up with me getting fucked up, right? She had a fear of that back. That's how angry I was. But in order for me to survive, to still be here in my almost 52nd year, I got to put that shit, I got to shield it, block it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck because I got to deal with this shit over here. I don't give a fuck because I got to worry about my son every time.
There are more important things.
I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. Like, what you want me to care? That's why I can't. And plus, a lot of the shit they want me to care about be phony. Like, all that patriotic bullshit that they kicked, all that Blue Lives Matter, 140 cops got injured January 6th. Miss me with your Blue Lives shit. Y'all don't believe these are the same people.
It was brain damage. One of them died. Suicide. Wait. All right. For those of you that may be listening that are sensitive to seemingly negative conversations about suicide,
right?
Please exit
good.
Now.
Thank you. Trigger warning.
Please exit now.
Right.
I don't have a strong stance on this yet. I have.
You might want to hold that because I gotta do something. Hold it. Hold on to that. Hold on.
All right. Who's left? Who's left in here? We got everybody left in here is from the Black Culture Geeks Facebook page. Okay, cool. So there will be literally no point of me telling the people, shut up, Eddie. There will be literally no point of me telling the people that are in here to follow the Black Culture Geeks Facebook page. But anyone listening on one of the audio platforms, this is how these things go. Well, we have a certain amount of topics. There are times where I specifically want to make sure I don't overcrowd the topics, and sometimes that leads to the conversation getting derailed into some interesting conversations. And some of the way that some of those conversations are shaped is by the people in the comments. So if you want to participate in that, you can go ahead and follow us on Facebook or over on Multi World Entertainment's Facebook page, over on Black Culture Geeks with a Z Facebook page, or Black Culture Geeks with a Z YouTube page, and you'll be able to participate and see all the shenanigans live. You can watch the videos that we play. You can look at the pictures that we show, and all those other good things. It just makes the experience a little more intuitive for anybody that is watching than just being able to listen. Now, I know there's some of y'all that just, throw us on when they're doing other stuff. And I get that too, because sometimes I watch YouTube like that for real. Depending on who the creator is. If it's not like something dealing with photography or videography or some type of like narrative that's being acted out or something like that, then yeah, I tend to throw on a YouTube video and listen to it as if it's a podcast. So I get that aspect. Somebody might be cleaning on a Sunday. Well, if you're listening to the audio only, that don't come out until Monday. But yeah, you might be doing some cleaning. You might be doing some cooking, whatever the case may be. You might be doing some exercise. You might be in the gym and just throw us on and listen to us. And I absolutely get that. It's just that the experience is a little bit enhanced when you watch us.
It is.
Yeah, versus just listening. But suicide. So in every article that I've seen, talking about the issues and casualties and everything of Insurrection Day.
Right.
You know what? From henceforth, that's the thing. Insurrection Day.
It's Insurrection Day. Yeah.
I've seen mentioned suicide. Some of the Capitol Police, I think it was 2 or 3 of them, committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
I find it difficult to have a hard stance on that because I understand that there are a myriad of reasons why one would commit suicide, right?
There are.
So I'm leaving it absolutely plausible that this police officer witnessed the atrocity that took place on this day in this country. It's not supposed to happen in this country. And they just believe in it so much that they're like, I can't take being here anymore. I can see that happening. I can see that happening. But I can also see.
What can you see? Tell us what you can see.
I can also see, oh, shit, our plan didn't work.
Yo, what I need for you to do right now is get the fuck out my head. Nigga, do you know how long that's been floating around in my head?
Yeah,
this motherfucker did something that's responsible, and eventually the paperwork will come out.
Right.
Some evidence come out that he was
right.
Get out of my head.
So like I find it hard to first of all, I try not to take hard stances on most things. Right. Because again, the whole spectrum.
Because you don't know nothing.
That's how
I am.
I don't know a goddamn thing. Life exists in a spectrum. And we like to simplify this shit. All of us, every single one of us likes to simplify this shit because it's better for our brain for us to understand it. But that's not what the world is. The world doesn't sit into as tight a specific set of parameters as we give it.
No, it doesn't. And every time we assume that it does, we get disappointed.
Yeah.
Every single time we think something is it's as simple as that.
Right.
And then it's not.
Now, sure, we get lucky sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, sure, I would say we probably get lucky
most of the time.
Most of the time.
Because, but us being lucky doesn't make us right.
Right.
Like I can feel like I'm about to drop my last $20 in this machine. It has to work. That's my thought.
Yeah.
It working doesn't make me right.
Nope. The only thing that can make you right or even close to right is if you have a consistent method with which to determine that this is one of the levers of reality. If I pull this lever, this thing happens. That's it. That's it.
So we like to delude ourselves. I ain't gonna say like. It's a biological necessity.
It might. Yeah. I was about to say it's something that I don't think we can kind of function without. Because listen, let me tell you something. The day you wrap your head around the idea that you are on a moving planet that is hurtling through space faster than anything you've ever seen move here, that there are giant meteors that pass us all the time,
whizzing by,
that NASA and radar do not catch until it's too late.
That miss us by the equivalent of inches.
Yes, by the proportional equivalent of inches, right?
Yeah.
When you realize the fact that at any moment, shit that you have absolutely no control over can snuff you.
It's frightening.
Snuff you. If
for some people,
focused on that. For some people,
it's frightening.
Right. Well, yeah, I think I'm kind of in that category when it comes to certain
things. Are
kind of, like. Also, this is what it is. Bet.
Right.
Bet.
Right.
So my response to certain stuff is going to be life is too short. Either because of age or prematurely because of some bullshit. Life is too short, nigga. You can be gone tomorrow. You can be gone in the next second. And and this early on when I was really into the music shit. That was also my philosophy. Like, yo, I could be dead at any minute. I better get this shit in. I better get some projects out. I better get, you know what I'm saying? I better get some people that when I'm gone, they go, yo, remember when Tomb did this? Remember? I better get some shit out. I put some shit out, and that's one of the things that propelled me in the first few years from 2012 to 2016 to do as many projects because shit, nigga, you better put something out. You better do something. You could be dead tomorrow, nigga. And then a lot of look, it's cliche to this point, and it's sad that it's cliche, but a lot of people I grew up with are not in a position to do what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
For whatever reason. They either lock the fuck up or they're dead. And the older I get, the more people around me die. So I pretty much spend my days contemplating like when it's gonna be you, when they're gonna be saying that shit about you.
Yep.
When they're gonna be saying shit about you. You better do something. You better do something.
Facts.
Even if you fail
at
it. Like if I'm the fuck up out of here before my for Operation Exit strategy, at least they'll have that to say about me.
Facts.
The nigga was working towards trying to get the you know what I'm saying? At least they'll have that.
Yo, that situation hit me early. When somebody I went to college with died of cancer. The year that would be our sophomore year.
That's crazy.
When that happened, I'm like, yo, she wasn't old. Well, when I last saw her, she was fine.
Right. And that's something she couldn't prepare for. See, that's the thing. Like the first death of my peers I experienced was with my bro Abraham. So we were literally coming out of the 6th grade going into the 7th. And that summer, he was murdered. And he was murdered in a situation that had nothing to do with him. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. They was trying to get somebody else, and they got him. Let me repeat to y'all. We were just leaving the 6th grade, going into the 7th grade.
Yeah.
He dies. Like, that shit shook the fuck, because death, I had experienced death before when my grandfather passed.
But that's quote unquote supposed to happen.
That's
on script.
Just having somebody that I hung around, every day. Matter of fact, the 6th grade year was the year me and him became friends. That year, because before then, I knew who he was. He was popular up to the school. I knew who he was, right? But I ain't fuck with him like that because he ran with some dudes that I had fought before to defend my brother. So you with them, so you must be, nigga, we wound up in the same homeroom class. Got over the stoop, that shit, because my brother was no longer at the school. So I got over that shit. We hashed out about that. And man, this nigga hung out every day. We had stupid games we would play in class. Like, it was one, that was my man's. And then he wasn't there. He was gone.
Similar to that, but very further apart. Somebody that I went to elementary school with. Now it's happened we were adults,
right?
But you know how it is with people from your younger days.
Yeah.
When you meet someone, and the older you get, the more this happens. When you meet someone, the time period that you knew them is where you leave them. That's right. Mentally, that's that person. That is that person. So even though I know we're adults, I knew him in elementary school. That's where I knew him.
Right.
He killed himself. And I had just talked to him like 2 days before he did it.
Right.
And it was just matter of fact, it was when I was it was when the NAG district shit was popping. And I had the group. It was something about the group. He was in the group and he made a post and all that other shit. And then I hit him up on the side and we talked for a little bit. Everything seemed fine.
Right.
2 days later, I found out. I'm like, yo,
crazy, yo.
That's crazy.
And that suicide stuff is my first dealings with that. I probably was 7, maybe a little younger. And my older cousin Junie, I just saw him because my grandmother used to babysit us, and she lived with them, with my Aunt Ann and her kids. I just saw him. My moms came to get me, and we walked past the room. Junie was in the room, laying down the bed. I still remember his last words, where my mom asked, "You okay, Junie?" And he said, "I ain't been feeling good, Aunt Shirley. I've been seeing stuff." Those were his last words. This is the day before. This was on a Friday. This was the Easter weekend. I go home. Sunday, we do the usual shit.
Right.
Go down to my grandmother's house because it's Easter. I go down there. As soon as we walk through the door, I still see my aunt, rest in power, Aunt Ann, standing by the bottom of the stairways, leaning against the banister with this look on her. I still can see to this day that look. I did not know what was happening, but we did not stay. And we went back home. My mom figured out a way to tell us that they had found Junie in the closet hanging. And it wasn't until I was older that I found out the story, like what caused that and all of that. But at the time, I was so young, I could not wrap my head around the idea of somebody doing that to themselves.
Right.
I was too young. So when Abraham died, that had more of a impact.
Yeah.
From then. But I will say this, and this is kind of a fucked up scenario, but because I lost a good friend early on, when I lost other friends afterwards,
it made it a little bit more palatable.
Yeah, I could deal with it a little better. When
this is a thing that happens.
This happens. When my man Gerald died, he was murdered. It's fucked up, but I had that experience at least 3 more times before that.
Right.
So I know this is a thing that can happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think people underestimate what these experiences do. When you come from an area where that sort of thing tends to happen fairly regularly, even if it's not with people you personally know.
Right.
It does something to you. It does.
Yeah.
And then when it hit home, it's people you know, you hung out with, you can talk to, you done been around, y'all done hung out, played video games and talk that shit, and then they gone.
Oh, they just that's not possible to do anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's different.
It should hit different. That should hit different.
Man, how the fuck did we get here?
Well, actually, this is your fault. I'm gonna tell you how we got here. We got here 3 years ago when he decided to do a podcast with someone with the stage name Tombstone the Dead Man.
Fair. Mulligan. I need a mulligan.
Is that a
anybody?
Beard?
No. Shut up, Eddie. God, man. Mind your business.
Actually, Eddie's more.
Go find you some business, man.
Yeah, he said for everything. He said he blamed you for everything.
Go find you some business, man.
Yo, let me say something real quick to the audience that's listening to this on Spotify and Amazon or wherever you listen to it at. We are trying to do better in communicating the shit that we're saying from the people that are watching this live to you, but it gets kind of hard because these motherfuckers are nuts.
They're unhinged.
They are unhinged.
And we wouldn't have them any other way.
Right. Facts. We did have some other stories, but I'm thinking we need to.
Yeah, I'm not there.
Yeah. So look, we want to. I'm glad we ended on that laughing note.
Yes, absolutely.
That shit was dark. It was dark and hell is hot.
Yo, I mean,
that shit was dark.
Yeah.
We want to thank all of y'all that listen live. I want to thank my sister for showing up and my cousin Pandora and all of y'all for real. Especially the ones of you that are always here every Saturday watching us fuss or be ass. Like, we appreciate that from y'all for real. Like, it's one of the highlights of my weekend, and now my weekend is very busy. Very busy now, right?
Bruh.
So being able to do this, we've been doing a show for 3 years, being able to do this and it still be like fun to do, that's kind of amazing because listen, after a while, everything rubs me the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like that's pretty dope. So we want to thank y'all for that. Also, all of the people that are listening to this podcast, that after it's already been sent to the streaming services, we want to thank you guys for consistently listening and for making what we do seem valuable when we look at the numbers and stuff. Makes it seem like that we actually reaching people and shit. So people that we never will see or don't have the pleasure of talking to, like we talk to the people that come to the live stream. But if you want to be a part of the live stream, you absolutely can be.
It's very simple.
It's real simple. Just go to the Black Culture Geeks YouTube channel. That's Black Culture Geeks with a Z. Go to the Black Culture Geeks YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and be here on Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And you can be a part of all this craziness and maybe get to know some of the regulars.
Yeah.
Just make sure you don't accidentally hand them none of your contact information.
Or, don't assimilate.
Don't give them none of. Make sure your social security number is intact because some of these dudes are scammers. I know, but
not good for you.
It's just not good for you. But other than that, we appreciate you guys for listening, and we're gonna talk to y'all next week. So for my man SPJ, I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and for the greater multi-world entertainment family, well, Fab said 5 p.m. Poland time. We are out.
Peace.